Thank you for joining us this morning. Now, government has announced a 2 cedi per litre reduction in the price of diesel effective Tuesday, August 4, following public concern over the latest fuel price increases. The intervention is expected to bring diesel prices down from nearly 19 cedis to about 17 cedis per litre at some pumps. But the Ghana Private Road Transport Union says the reduction may not be enough to prevent a possible increase in transport fares.
The announcement follows the implementation of the first petroleum pricing window for August, which took effect on Monday, August 3. Under the new prices, petrol rose to about 15 cedis, 57 pesos per litre at some fuel stations, while diesel climbed to nearly 19 cedis per litre. However, the government, in a statement issued by the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, has since announced a 2 cedi reduction in the price of diesel effective Tuesday, August 4. Chief Executive Officer of the National Petroleum Authority, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo, spoke about the move.
If you compare the two products and then the pricing, in the view of government, the major impact product is diesel. And that is why the decision has been taken in respect of diesel.
Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Samuel Amwa, says diesel at about 17 cedis per litre is still expensive and could provide grounds for transport operators to demand an upward adjustment in fares.
Supposing it was around 16 cedis and government is taking 2 cedis, then it means that it's coming down to around 14 cedis. But this time around, it's almost 20 cedis. So we appreciate what the government is doing. That will also help us, by maybe reducing the percentage that we want to use to increase our fares. But as for the fare increment, it's obvious that we have to do that.
The latest fuel price increases have largely been linked to instability in the Middle East, which has disrupted global petroleum markets and pushed up the cost of crude oil and refined petroleum products. The development has once again exposed Ghana's heavy dependence on imported refined petroleum products and its vulnerability to external market shocks. Energy sector stakeholders are therefore renewing calls for the country to strengthen its domestic refining capacity and expedite efforts to rehabilitate the Tema oil refinery. For now, concerns remain over whether the diesel price reduction will be enough to prevent an increase in transport fares and ease the broader pressure on the cost of living.
Now we're still staying a little longer on the fuel prices as the Minister for Government Communication, Felix Kwakye Ofosu, who spoke to TV3's new program as Daily Brief, said the move is meant to cushion the public and reduce the cost of living.
Let me stress that everybody bears witness that the exchange rate has improved significantly and that for a whole year and a half, we have brought it down. It is lower, much lower than what we inherited. Consequently, for the whole of last year and the earlier part of this year, we saw that fuel prices came down. Indeed, on about 10 or 11 different occasions, pricing windows, the price of fuel fell. So much so that it fell under 10 cedis. And it even triggered some price wars between some OMCs and to the benefit of the Ghanaian consumer. Let me stress that crude oil prices are at the same level now that they were in November of 2022 when diesel was 23 cedis at the pump in Ghana. No, I think that has been done, bearing in mind all the factors. We believe that if you put all the factors together, the 2 cedi reduction suffices. And the statement added quickly, and if you go back to it, you will find that I said that this is supposed to last for 4 weeks. And then after 4 weeks, the situation will be reviewed. And once it is reviewed and further action is required, government will take it. Indeed, the indications are that even this morning, the price of crude oil has come down. Let me stress that the prices that were used for the recent pricing window stem from the situation before today. So today we've seen some reduction. We hope that it continues. If that happens, then further reductions can be expected at the point, because then
Very well.
the natural forces of supply and demand would have kicked in. But for now, we believe that this is adequate, bearing in mind all the factors that go into pricing.
Now, away from fuel prices, President John Dramani Mahama says he will push for Caribbean to be part of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area when he assumes office as the African Union chairman. Now, speaking at a joint press conference with the Jamaican Prime Minister as part of his state visit to the Caribbean country, he noted that there is readiness for trade between the two continents, that is, Africa and the Caribbean. Now, away from that to some political stories, the opposition New Patriotic Party says it will press ahead with its nationwide Democracy Under Attack demonstration scheduled for Thursday, August 6, after completing all required notification processes with the Accra Regional Police Command. Now, the party insists the protest is a response to what it describes as a selective administration of justice and growing threat to Ghana's democratic institutions.
The essence of this demonstration is the selective justice we are witnessing, the interference with our judiciary, again, the repressive and onerous bail conditions being slapped on members of the opposition, and the fact that today, as we speak, democracy is under attack, suppression of free speech, criminalization of free speech. We cannot witness the fact that our democracy is dying. And this is not what President Mahama promised. President Mahama cannot so pretend over a nation that over the years we've been tagged as the beacon of democracy. And today we are lacking behind on all fronts, and it's amazing. So we intend to stage this mammoth demonstration to express our dissatisfaction, to press home some demands that democracy is the way to go. So President Mahama and the NDC cannot suppress our democracy. So Thursday, 6th of August, in the morning, 5 a.m., we gather in front of the Supreme Court. We'll present the first petition at the Supreme Court, and then we will move straight the street in front of Yoko. Then we will just move straight to Jubilee House to present the other petition. There will be a last petition that will be sent to Parliament House, but we will delegate the leadership in Parliament and some leaders of our party to present that petition. But we are going to hold this mammoth demonstration, democracy under attack.
Now, away from politics to some health-related stories, the use of online apps and search engines to self-diagnose illnesses is surging, that's among the young people. Many say it gives them a sense of awareness about their health before seeking professional health care. But medical practitioners warn that the awareness is not the same as diagnosis.
It has become a growing trend, with individuals turning to the internet and artificial intelligence to interpret their symptoms. For some, it feels like a shortcut to accessing medical care. After browsing online, they head straight to the pharmacy for medication and only visit the hospital if the internet suggests a referral.
So searching online, and I go to the nearest pharmacy and then get some drugs. Before, if they ask me to go to the hospital, I go to the hospital for further treatment. It really helps in administering the drugs.
I have this app I use. I have their WhatsApp number. So the first thing I do is consult them. It's an AI something. So messages and everything has already been crafted. So after them, then I head to the pharmacy. But they are the first thing I consult before I head to the pharmacy.
I don't know the type of sickness. So I'll rather go to the hospital for the doctor to examine.
According to the symptoms I have, I search for what is wrong with me, and then I later go to the pharmacy to get drugs.
I'll search for the symptoms online, then I'll see the signs, then after that go to the hospital.
Medical practitioner Dr. Matilda Emisa cautions that while the internet can be a useful source of health information, it must never replace professional medical diagnosis.
There are certain things that we do, even as health workers. I mean, taking a glance at you does not give us a diagnosis. Adult, you've had hypertension for a long time, and you have chest pain, and they sit in a house. False reassurance. Oh, yesterday I had a cough, so it could be related to that cough. And then you Google, and then it gives you certain information, even gives you remedies for cough. Meanwhile, you are the one having a heart attack. I think that the internet is a great source of information, but it shouldn't be, your way to go.
She stresses that self-diagnosis can be dangerous and urges the public to seek proper medical attention instead of relying solely on online searches.
If it's also something that is a life-threatening, illness that you have, and you take it lightly, the internet tells you, oh, go buy Procode, you'll be fine. You may end up in the hospital too late. So, this is a terrible thing to do. Only use the internet to get the information and then seek professional advice.
Dr. Emisa also called on pharmacists to act responsibly by refusing to dispense medication without a doctor's prescription or proper diagnosis. Beatrice Soa, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, barely a month after flash floods claimed lives and left a trail of destruction across part of Accra, heaps of rubbish are once again choking sections of the capital's major drainage system despite a high-profile sanitation exercise. A tour of flood-prone communities reveals poor management system persisting as dredging works continue, raising fresh concerns over the city's preparedness for the next heavy rains. A report by Stanley Nee Blom.
On June 29, flash floods swept through parts of Accra, claiming lives and leaving widespread destruction in their wake. The disaster was largely blamed on indiscriminate waste disposal and heavily silted drains that were unable to contain the volume of water. In response, authorities embarked on a 2-day sanitation exercise to clear debris from flood-prone communities, including Alajo, Carprice, Aveno, Teshi and Chado. 1 month later, I returned to Alajo to assess whether those gains have been sustained. But a walk along the main storm drain paints a worrying picture. Heaps of domestic waste have returned to the edges of the drain, with some residents openly burning refuse while uncollected debris litters the area. Residents admit that wind, animals and even human activity eventually push the waste back into the drain. They say the situation worsened after the joint security personnel who supported the cleanup exercise withdrew from the community.
Sat down na mube sisa bola no ye gisa mbe duru asa amandru na gina ocho musa mamba na mukoya musa mo muntime mbe duru asa muntime sisa.
That concern is echoed by Mohammed Bashiru, who believes sustained dredging rather than periodic cleanup exercises is the only lasting solution.
Governor de waya de kakra bet wayan solve the problem ni na no e was circle e was Victory Hotel na chi hodom no odono no inside no ewia no ayama wo honom governor nen kasa anase panyimfo no kasa nim say honom no na ye a problem no but ombia dwane omon pese omon ka honom asem honom na e block ye so no to babia e kodur honom a e be block.
At Carprice, dredging is ongoing under the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project. The exercise, supervised by the Ghana Hydrological Authority, is aimed at restoring the drain's capacity to carry storm water and reduce flood risk. However, residents fear that delays in transporting the dredged sand could allow it to be washed back into the channel during the next heavy downpour. Further downstream at the circle stretch of the Odor drain, the challenge is even more daunting. Large volumes of silt still blanket sections of the channel, suggesting that the dredging operation could take several more weeks before the drain is fully restored. As Accra edges closer to another peak of rainy period, the race against flooding is far from over. Unless dredging is completed, waste disposal is strictly enforced, and residents change long-standing sanitation habits, the next heavy rainfall could once again expose the capital's costly failure to keep its drains flowing. Stanley Niblo, TV3 News, Accra.
We're moving on to some educational-related stories as the release of the 2026 Basic Education Certificate Examination result has sparked mixed reaction, with some parents expressing disappointment over the award's performance, while the West African Examination Council says it has intensified measures against examination malpractices which contributed to the outcome. Education policy analysts argue the conversation should go beyond curbing cheating to reforming the education system itself. A report by Samuel Adams.
A total of 620,243 candidates from 20,789 schools sat for the BEC, with 3,601 absentees recorded. While the council says the examination was largely successful, hundreds of candidates have had their result cancelled or withheld over examination irregularities. Head of Public Affairs at WAEC, John Kapi, says investigations into the more than 2,700 candidates from 229 schools are still ongoing.
So the 119 candidates whose results have been withheld, these are what we refer to as routine cases. We've seen them. We are still trying to investigate and find out exactly offenses that have been committed in order that we are able to, come out with what do I call the right, punishment. That is, if there's any need to punish them at all. For the 2,722, these are the ones that were detected in the course of marking. Now, so we are going to have to scrutinize them and then give the candidates a hearing before a decision can be taken.
WAEC maintains that enhanced security measures before, during and after the examination helped reduce incidents of malpractice.
We have recorded some irregularities, some examination malpractices, but thankfully we haven't had any high numbers, in relation to last year's numbers.
Meanwhile, Kofi Asare argues that malpractice continues to exist and must be taken seriously.
There's a number of candidates involved in cancellations, reducing from about 900 in 2025 to about 600, right? Yeah, in 2026. So that reflects, the downward trend, which suggests that examination malpractice may be on the low, so we are still high. And I want to get to a point where we are getting perhaps single-digit candidates involved in cancellations.
For him, it is about time government pursues reforms that place greater emphasis on competency-based assessment while safeguarding the credibility of the system.
While it is important for a merit-based mechanism to dictate who goes to category or category B, the stress occasioned by writing up to 9 or more than 9 subjects, BC, does not correspond with the remaining relevance of BC. So we have suggested at EduWatch that the government should consider just writing BC on just the core subjects.
Following the release of the result, attention now turns to the computerized school selection and placement system. The Ghana Education Service is expected to begin the placement process in the coming weeks, after which qualified candidates will be assigned to senior high schools across the country, marking the next stage of their academic journey. Samuel Yabo Adams, TV3 News, Accra.
And that's our package for you this morning. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Haliga Newday continues after the break. Stay with us.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers this morning.
Confirm if this is your bank account. 100100100.
Thanks for sending your bank card details.
Send the OTP now to avoid cancellation.
EcoBank will never call, email, send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Don't get played. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Hello, please, I'm calling from customer.
Guinness Pound of Flesh. Do you ever read Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so Guinness Pound of Flesh is George Quay's adaptation of Merchant of Venice.
Oh, it's an adaptation.
Yes.
I saw Godwin.
Yes, two of our own are in the play.
In the rehearsal.
Yes, so Godwin Mambo is there.
Well,
and
yes.
Isiedua, oh my God. I should just give me a minute to appreciate Isiedua. Isiedua of TV3, formerly of Ghana's Most Beautiful, was an exceptional actor on stage this weekend.
Fantastic.
This is her first time.
Isiedua.
This is her first time.
When she was delivering her lines in the rehearsal.
I mean, if you are Ghana's Most Beautiful trained, then we know that you have stage presence and confidence and ability to express yourself, beautifully on stage. I had expectations, but she totally exceeded my expectations.
Charlie.
And so, Isiedua of TV3, yes, GMB. Congratulations to you. We're so proud of you. She'll be on stage again this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. She plays Araba, our lead female in the play. So, Isiedua. And to Godwin Nambo of the afternoon show.
Fantastic.
The two of them fall in love in the play. In the play, yeah.
Talk well,
yeah, they fall in love in the play, and they're perfect. So if you didn't see them this weekend, come see them.
Charlie.
Last weekend, come see them this weekend.
And Diana Pang of Tamale, good morning to you, says that you're just glowing and just laughs the way you're looking, and that welcome back.
Thank you,
that you've been missed, even though she sees you on social media. So that's a good thing. Kwesi Mensah is watching us from the United States of America, in a city called New York, but a place called Albany. So Albany, New York. Kwesi Mensah is watching us, and Isiedua Fante, not Isiedu. Okay.
I'm not pronouncing it well.
Isiedu. Yeah, that's what.
Isiedua.
No, Isiedu.
Isiedu.
Yeah. So, Kwesi Mensah says that he is the dad. That's the guardian as well. So,
I see,
congratulations for using her as well. Let me say good morning to you, Pai Fianku, Chairman Prosper, as well as Godwin Tamaklo of the Raid Group, and everybody also tend to watch us. We're grateful that you've joined us this morning. Quite exciting lineup we have, and I tell you that immediately Na said she was resuming today. I conspired with Shadrach, so we're sending her to the transport yard. Immediately, the announcement was made for probably an increment in fares by GPRT. We said we want to touch base with them because it's coinciding with the president also directing that we should have 2 cedis reduced on fuel or diesel as well. So,
yes. It's good news, you would think, when the announcement came. So 2 cedis reduction per litre on diesel, and the announcement came yesterday. It starts today. So starting today, you will see a 2 cedi reduction per litre when you buy diesel. Now, you'd expect that this will be great news and it'll be received well. However, there have been some mixed reactions and mixed responses from users, drivers, and some of the leaders in the transport yards. Now, they say that 2 cedis is a little too small. They're expecting about 4 cedis or 5 cedis in order to feel or experience the effect of the reduction. That 2 cedis won't do much. That's what they say. Do you agree? Should we be jubilating because we've seen some reduction and hope that we'll continue to see reductions in subsequent months, so it will culminate to a good drop at the end of the day? Or should we expect such high reductions from the very beginning, like a 5 cedi drop, from the get-go? What are your thoughts? I will go to the transport yard.
Yeah.
I was hoping to keep my high heels on all morning, but I will...
But knowing you, I'm sure you have some sneakers or something like that.
my boots, and go to the transport yard to talk to the GPRT leadership, some drivers and some passengers as well. But this morning, we want to talk about our kids. Right, the BECE.
Yeah, we'll talk about the BECE.
Yes.
The last week we talked about the West African Examination Council bringing out the results or publishing the results, for which a directive was given through a press release for parents to go check those results.
Yeah.
And we did indicate that according to the new directive, the results are in, you're not going to select your schools.
And now it's time. It's time to...
And then after that, you'll be placed.
Yes, the selection. Now, parents have been talking. First, so the conversation around the BEC this morning, though we're going to be focusing on the school selection that parents are currently helping their wards to do or are doing for them for subsequent placement. The news on malpractices and cancellation of results is still making the rounds. We are told that there's a significant drop in the number of exam results that have been cancelled from last year to this year. Last year, there was recorded a little over 900 results were cancelled last year. This year, it's dropped to 600, and we're hoping that as time goes on, or in subsequent years, we'll be able to drop to single digits, cancellations. To say that there will be no cancellations would be a bit of a stretch, because you'd always have those parents, students, or teachers colluding to do the wrong thing. And so, as for the wrong thing, we can't absolutely expect everyone to conform. But we're hoping that the numbers will drop drastically and we'll see single digits in the coming years. But this morning, have you helped your ward select the schools that they will choose for their placement? Have you considered their results and the school you are choosing? What are the considerations you are making? Proximity to the home, the results your child had, their personal preferences, or are we still choosing schools for our children based on what we want? I can speak from my time, during my time. A lot of the parents would choose schools based on their own old school, or how far away they want the child to go, depending on the child's independence, ability to take care of themselves. And some stubborn ones, as well, so they can keep an eye on them. There are so many different considerations.
There's a lot of consideration that is made. I think that generally, sometimes there are a number of indicators these days that is deterring parents from choosing the type of schools they want, either because of the boarding system, they have the double track, etc. So, and then the road leading to, sometimes if it's in Cape Coast, you have to travel for long hours before you return at night, except when you are visiting your ward. So those are the considerations that are made.
Even though Cape Coast has some of the schools that do pretty well, some of the very popular schools that do pretty well.
I think linearly, they tend to like their children to go to the schools they went, if those schools were good.
Yes. Or they probably do not want their children to go to the schools they went to.
Because of their experiences
in those schools. But anyway, we want to talk to parents this morning. If you're a parent and you're watching us, let us hear from you. Let us know if you've started the process of choosing the schools with your wards or for them, as the case may be. What are the considerations that you are making, and how is it going so far? Basically, we want feedback from parents. Let us know. We're going to activate the phone lines in a minute, and then you can call in. And I understand we have a WhatsApp line.
Yeah, so we have a WhatsApp line. It will be on your screens very soon. And for those of you who tend to give us a lot of messages, like Erickson MK, and then Alhaji Jibril of National Security. Let me say good morning to you, the Managing Director of the Tema Oil Refinery, Edmond Combat, also a lawyer as well, and then Alhaji Mustafa. Wishing you all the best for the day, and it's important that we're able to put this into perspective. And up next, we do those discussions, the BECE, the results are out. Now, they need to choose the schools as the candidates or the students who have their result in, and then subsequently they'll be placed. We'll tell you the details as well from the placement secretariats, as the Free SHS secretariat, also right here in Accra. Alhaji Binu Yerubushele, I see your message. Good morning to you as well.
And you're watching TV3 Newday. It's now time for This Morning. And this morning, we're discussing the BECE school selection and the experiences that parents have had so far. What are the considerations that you're making in deciding which schools to select for your ward for subsequent placement. If you're a parent and you're watching us this morning, we want to hear from you. Or if you are a student, you know, looking to go to SHS and you're watching us this morning and you have the means, you have the mobile phone, you can also WhatsApp us this morning and let us know how it's going so far. Let us know. Our WhatsApp number is also fully active now. You can send us a WhatsApp message and we will read it live on the show. The phone line is also activated. We'll put up the number in a moment. And you can also send in your phone calls. We're happy to hear from you. We already have some messages coming in, and Roland has them on our WhatsApp line.
Well, for our international viewer, we're grateful you've joined us. Shatawali fan, Zilis Dwayne, also a fan of Liverpool, so lives in the UK. And then, of course, I have Prince Nania York, money and the rest. But so we have a couple of messages we'll quickly just go through, and then we'll get to see what the latest indicators are so far. We have, they say, okay, have been frozen at this rate. Let's hope didn't freeze. Okay. So yesterday, the president reduced fuel prices by 2 Ghana cedis, especially on diesel. This is a very, he says, fantastic and timely intervention. We're discussing this, and then just to also make predictions for the future, what are the indicators? Because we know what the prices are, just under $90 when it comes to crude. But importantly also, we know that there's still that stalemate in the Middle East. And so if you're doing the forecasting, you look at the FOB prices and then also how the transportation will be done in the period that it takes for it to come in country as well. So those are the considerations that are made. So we'll have Eduji Tamaklo, former Deputy Energy Minister, and then also former Member of Parliament for Second D, Lawyer Ijapa Mesa also coming into the studio, and then Dr. Ramsey also coming into the studio. Please help me say happy birthday to my mom. She's always glued to TV3. Oh, very good. So you say, I'm sure she will see this. And you didn't tell us your mom's name. Oh. So you said you want us to wish your mom a happy birthday, and you didn't. Talking about birthday, Mr. Amuji Augustine, you're celebrating your birthday as well, and it's from your brother Saviola. Good morning to you, Mr. Amuji Augustine. Happy birthday to you. But now we have a lot more to share.
Yes, we do. But in the meantime, we want to activate the phone lines and invite you to join us. Let us know what your thoughts are on the school selection process. How is it going so far? And for those of you who have been able to select, is your ward happy with the choices you have made? What are the things you're considering in deciding which schools to choose? How were the results? And have the results affected the choices that you're making in respect of schools so far? And, you know, sometimes we're told that parents select schools that they know they will not be pleased in. I don't know about that, but do you think that you have had such an experience, perhaps parents who selected schools from last year, for example? You can let us know what your experience has been. The phone lines are active. Our WhatsApp lines are also active. I'll read some messages coming in from you this morning. Good morning, Na. Great to have you back. Thank you. Happy to be back. As for the school placement system, I think that we should go to the days where the placements were made without parent selection. All right, no human intervention. Okay, and Pastor Moses sends this one in. He says, well, it's a birthday message. Happy 82nd birthday to Mrs. Regina Kwale Papo from Kwate Papo family. All right, from Achimota. Good morning to you, ma'am. 82, that's a big one. Happy birthday to you. This one says, now what time are you coming to the transport yard? I want to wait for you. I'll be there soon. I'm going to New Plan, Circle New Plan Station. So don't wait for me, but if you're there when I come, I'll be happy to talk to you. We have some callers joining us already. Alaji has just joined us. Good morning, Alaji. Alaji.
Now, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Alaji.
Roland, that's right.
Nah.
Today,
nah.
I'm John Karawo.
Gambit.
Let me send my blessing to you and Shamima Ihaza Alajalasan and Chairman for Swampofu. Do you know Saturday's burial of his father? Is he Papa Boo? I think this year what we experience is good because past years when you listen about the resource cancellation, I think we did not appear at all. It means that our students did not learn. So we need to look about these things, and and we solve that problem. I think the education minister, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, is now doing his work well to see how we can put this well, and things will go on for us. So let's keep on look about those challenges and we have been having in our education sector.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alaji, for that call and for joining us. Now, we want to hear from other parents as well. Please let us know. Are you encountering any challenges in selecting the schools for your ward? The GES did some sensitization exercises to help equip the parents and other persons who assist parents in the school placement systems, especially parents who are not very well versed in the computerized placement system and how to do their selections ahead of the placement. Are you encountering any challenges? Has it been smooth so far? Is your ward happy with the choices that you are helping them make? Are you even making these choices with your ward's own choices in mind? Now, I heard a parent say that she was not going to allow her daughter to select the schools because she was just following her friends, and a group of friends want to end up in the same school, and so they had all decided to choose a particular school, and so she made sure that all the schools that the other friends chose were not the schools that her daughter chose, because it was time for her child to, you know, go away from those students. Are those some of the considerations that you're making? Let us know. Fatal has just joined us on the phone lines. Hello, Fatal. Fatal. Okay, I think we lost Fatal there. But let's go back to our messages wall.
Yeah, certainly. And well, so we'll go through a number of messages and a number of people also watching us. That's Mr. Adam Holomashi. Good morning to you. Says the wife, Mrs. Mary Nyako Holomashi, is also watching us, celebrating the birthday as well. And for the transport fares, a lot needs to be done about it so that they don't increase them. But more importantly, the new way of selecting schools is the best to avoid overcrowding that is experienced. This one is coming from Kwame Acidity for Chirinswa, and says congratulations to his former school, my former school, Chirinswa Presby Basic School, for their wonderful performance throughout this year's BEC and the results coming through. And Kwame Acidity. Okay, and then we have this one. Regardless of the reduction government gives in relation to the diesel, the driver's attitude towards extortion of passengers won't change. Okay, so he says something needs to be done about it. And then this one is coming from Jake N.S. Ayek from Kalio, says the Minister of Education must wake up when it comes to school selections. And that's from Jake, basically.
All right, we're going to go on to Zoom and speak to the PTA Secretary, Mr. Kofi Gabson, who's joining us to let us know basically how parents and teachers, as well as their wards, are faring with the placement system so far, the selection system so far. Mr. Gabson, good morning. Okay, Mr. Gabson will join us in a moment. I read a few messages coming in this morning.
Hello.
All right, Mr. Gabson?
Hello. Yes, good morning.
Great to have you, Mr. Gabson. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure giving us opportunity.
All right, Mr. Gabson, what's the role of the PTA in the selection process for students?
Well, we don't play a direct role, but...
Sorry, Mr. Gabson, can you speak up a bit? We can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Good morning to you and good morning to your cherished listeners.
Great to have you.
We don't play a direct role, but we play an intermediary role between the choices that our wards want to choose together with the school administration. We guide them to make sure that they don't make choices that at the end of the day throws up off their career prospects into the future, into jeopardy. So what we usually do is when the Ministry of Education, the Ghana Education Service, together with the their structure across board to the school-based level when they have tried to give us information about the nature of the BEC placement. Definitely the school heads, together with the staff, would convene a meeting through the PTA executives for us to understand the process, so that through that, together with the child or the student concerned, who is our ward, we put our heads together and look at, based on the results that has come, or based on projections before, what we expect or we think that they can perform, and where we think that when they choose, it can match with their results performances. We together take a collective decision in the interest of the student and the collective interest of the family. We take schools that will help them pursue the courses they want to do in future.
All right, so you provide some guidance. Now,
Yes.
so far, have parents raised any concerns about the selection process?
This year, yes, not with regards to directly with regards to the selection, because there's a novelty, there's a new way they are trying to do it this year. This year, they're saying that when the results come, the results should guide us to choose the schools. So as the results have come, the honest truth is that this year's results is one of the worst results that parents across the country, whether public or private basic schools, are not enthused about it. Almost every parent that I have spoken to, or everybody who has called, most of them are complaining that either the results doesn't reflect the true abilities of their wards, and they suspect that something has gone wrong somewhere. So that is the biggest nightmare for most parents, because it will definitely affect the choices they want to make. For instance, if a parent believes that his child should have gotten Achimota, and such a parent knows that he expects the child to get between a grade 6 to 10, and the child comes out with a grade 20 and above, and the parent knows that this is not a true reflection of my child's learning capacity in terms of the results outcome, and the child was not engaged in any form of examination malpractices, or the student was not engaged, or the center was not caught in any gross exam-related issues. But at the end of the day, when the results came, looking at the performance of the child in terms of mock examinations that were conducted independently, assessed by bodies, and then the child's continual assessment and the child's academic abilities, even in the school, as one of the best students, not only within the school, but within the entire municipality. And such a child gets between a grade 20 and above, or the whole school, that people know that no, this school, at least every year, they come out with one of the best results. And this year, it becomes a different story altogether. I've seen the private schools leadership complaining, but the truth of the matter is that it's not only with the private schools, it's both the public and the private schools. And definitely, the choices you make, especially in certain schools, will depend on your academic performance, the grades that you get. So that is the biggest nightmare. And we live in a country that we truly assess people's capacity, people's integrity, people's measure of knowledge, or people's measure of this by the results they get, not the character that the child has. So that is our biggest issue now this year. And I was even wondering if the results had come, if we had done the school placement or before the results had come, I would have known how parents would have even reacted to it, because it has become a big nightmare for all parents across the country. And I think that we need to really look at this thing. We don't know what has actually gone wrong, but I think that we need an independent body to go back and re-audit the system. And
but
come
from
out.
where you sit as a secretary of the PTA, and all the information that you have available to you that may not be available to the rest of us, what do you think has accounted for this year's poor performance?
Well, I have a mixed feelings about it. Well, we cannot rule out nagging issues about examination malpractices, but I think that even if regions, for instance, in my region, the Bono East region, it was one of the most flagged region for examination malpractice, and I can tell on authority that the regional director did a very good job of education, did a very good job. He engaged parents across board. He engaged all categories of stakeholders and insisted that if previous years those things went unnoticed and probably it didn't go down well, this year he is not prepared to succumb his office of any of his officers, and he's also prepared to allow any teacher to do that. But he urged that everybody should put out his best and make sure that our students, especially we the parents and the teachers who teach in those schools and the heads, we should make sure that our students are not involved. And I can tell you this year, it was not a big issue, a major issue as it used to be. But the truth of the matter is that when the results also came, well, some will reflect the learning abilities of the children, but some also, there are parents who genuinely believe that this is not the true results of their students. For instance, I can personally speak for my ward, that she's somebody that everybody knows what she's capable of doing. But if you look at this year's results, as soon as 3 days ago, when I was able to finally assess it and I shared it with her, the first comment she reacted to me via WhatsApp was that, "Daddy, this is not my results. You know me, I will not accept this. I'm calling for remarking." That is how bold she was. And that has been a big issue on my mind as I speak to you now. And I'm looking at how I can go around it, because like it has not become something that people have always been able to test the system. But I think that some of us will try to find out so that we can have an audit of the system and find out what actually went wrong, because it doesn't reflect her result. And not only her, she has a colleague, about 3 or 4 of them, who compete in one of that school. And it's a model school in Atebogo, Efedoina. And I can tell you on authority that even yesterday, the headmistress in the night, as at 10 p.m., when I was battling my migraine and I was trying to sleep, and she woke me up, she still told me that when the parents came, and it's not only her, it's across most places in Atebogo, and not only Atebogo, across that. And I can tell you, I've checked most of our Conference of Heads of Business School platforms. I've had heads, we just came from a conference from Koforidua, and I can tell you that most of the parents and the head teachers have been calling and saying that they don't know what has gone wrong this year with the WAEC results. So I think that as a country, we need to find a way to look at these things.
That's interesting that you think that...
WAEC, I'm not crucifying them. I'm not crucifying WAEC. They are an independent body. They've tried to do their best. But I think that an unexamined life is not worth living. So we should do a SWOT analysis of the WAEC results performance this year and see if genuinely something went wrong somewhere. We can together salvage our country from these doldrums.
Now, this is something that we hear every year, that some students complain that the results that came out were perhaps lower than what they expected, that is not a reflection of the child's learning capacity. You've said this a few times in your last statement, but from what I am hearing you say this morning, it is unusual, the number of students who think that the results that came do not reflect their expected performance, including your ward, like you said. What exactly do you think has happened here? Are students being held to standards which are much higher than is expected for their level, or what is accounting for students who we know perhaps do very well in school, scoring low grades in the exam?
Well, what I know, I've been in that space for the last 24 years and still counting. What I know is that this year's exam was not above the thresholds of students' learning ability and then the outcomes of what they can produce within the educational system within that space. Not at all. Not at all. I don't think that is the issue. I just think that along the line, something has gone wrong. Either probably there might have been issues of, we also heard some information about examination malpractices in some places. Probably it probably might inform people, the examiners, to probably tighten the way they mark and put everybody in the same jacket to give them a very hard marking scheme or whatever it is. But I just think that there's something we need to check. That is the biggest question that is eluding all of us. And until we find a way to get people to challenge the status quo, for us to go into it and probably find out what actually went wrong. I think that this question will still remain a nightmare and a quagmire within the system.
All right. Now, before I let you go, can you provide some guidance to parents who are yet to select the schools for their wards? What are the main considerations they should have in deciding which school to select?
Well, first of all, this year, instead of as the previous years, we used to select before the results come. This year, they say, wait, when the results come and you see your child's ability, you should be able to sit down with your ward or your child together with the school administration to ask whether if the child wants to attend Achimota, whether the child wants to go to Wesley Girls, whether is it a category A school, category B school, or whatever C school. It depends on the grade of the child. So if the grade clearly does not match with what that school is requesting for, definitely when you choose it, the ability of you getting that school will be very, very low in terms of probability. So definitely, they have eight main selection choices, 6 main choices and 2 alternative. So the 6, you have 3 boarding schools and 3 day schools, and 1 day, 1 boarding from category B, 1 day, 1 boarding from category C. You cannot choose more than 2 schools in category A. You cannot choose more than 2 category A schools, and you cannot choose more than 2 category B schools. So that is basically the nature of it. And a lot of debriefing exercise has gone on. When they get to the school, they should listen to the headmaster or the headmistress at that basic school level, at the JHS level, together with the staff that has been together, the ICT staff or whoever teacher is to assist the head to choose. And based on the result of the award, when they do the choosing, they will be able to know where it goes. In fact, there's even a technological tool that we have together with a body who is a parent has helped us to put it up. And with that app, when you even just use your child's results to check and you want the schools you want, it will tell you your chances. If I were something like 10 Ghana cedis, it can give you as many as 14 chances. That one, there's nobody who is going to fraud you. You will know whether the school you are choosing, you get it or you not get it. But I'm not here to probably do that advert. But I'm just saying this, all this is to guide parents. So I will urge parents to psychologically sync up their walls, and then let's look at the situation that will best save all of us going forward. But I think that this new thing, we need to give it time to be able to assess it and compare with the former system that we used to operate to see. But it's always better that you know your grade before you choose your school.
Okay.
That is the good side, this new novelty that has come. But until we roll it out and we see how effective it is working, and also it will also help parents to also see how best we can firmly enforce learning of our wards to make sure that they learn more and they put all kinds of mediocre and not rely on any external hands to help them to pass their examination. That one, examination malpractice, we are against it because we will never support it, we will never kowtow to it. But I also think that we need to look at these things very well. Maybe something has gone wrong along the operational chain of the distance. So we need a system to social audit this thing.
All right.
And also urge WIC to do what they can do to help all of us to have confidence in the system that we've been using over these years.
All right. Thank you so much. Mr. Kofi Gabson is the Secretary of the PTA speaking to us there on the school selection system ahead of the placement into SHS schools that parents are currently doing. He complains about the system, says something is amiss because a lot of students, he says, have received their results, they look at it, and it's not a reflection of their learning capacity. Parents are complaining, some of the students are complaining, and it's not particularly linked to malpractices or reported cancellations and so on. The question is, what exactly is going on, and what has accounted for the very, very poor performance this year? If you're a parent, would like to hear from you. We see some of your messages coming in.
And some of the messages now are even laced with some of these concerns. Mm-hmm. So we'll take a couple. This one says that, in previous years, specifically around 2010, school selection was done while students were still in JSS 3. I think that's what they've been doing all this while. While and says that before the BEC results were released, the system worked well because the students selected with guidance from their teachers in school. Parents did not incur extra travel costs. The process was organized, fair, and less stressful. Good point. And then say, however, the current system requires students to wait for BEC results to be released before they do school selection. As a result, parents and students are now forced to travel from cities, towns, and villages to campuses and schools to select. I don't know. Okay, if your children are in boarding school, I think that'll be an exception. Not at the JSS level. And this has led to high transportation and accommodation expense for poor families, confusion and overcrowding at selection centers, delays that affect students in rural areas like Nzema, Ariebo, Lembele. And so they are pleading with the Minister of Education and the President to urgently review and revert to the previous system where selection was done in JHS3 before results. That system protected parents and gave every child, whether rich or poor, an equal chance. We trust your leadership, and he believes something will be done. This one is by Thomas Akachi Nagod, concerned citizen and an education advocate in Zima Ariebo, Lembele. And this one said, not only learning of students falling, but teaching as well. Teaching has now turned into TikTok. That is why standard of learning is falling abysmally. I don't know. We create content on TikTok, but also use it for education as well. Or now,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it depends on. So the parent is supposed to be a guidance person, okay? You guide your children what to do with the TikTok. If you give them phones, that's what will happen. All right. Anyway, good morning to you. The problem I have is the marking scheme. It's high, and that has because, all right, the English is not Englishing. So my passionate request for the scripts to be released to the schools as well, because sometimes we doubt the result allotted to our students. Suleiman from Agunas Radio. Good point. I'm deeply concerned by the growing tendency to place the entire burden of the BEC result for this year on teachers. With the official release of the result by WAEC, many parents have expressed profound disappointment because numerous candidates could not secure admission to Category A and B senior high schools. Unfortunately, the blame is being directed solely at teachers. Education is a shared responsibility, I agree. The academic performance of learners is influenced by collective effort. And A.B. Hammond Waloho comes with this good long message as well. This year's BEC results are the true reflection of unseriousness of these kids. Learners of today resort to social media instead of studies. Andy from Joapong. And Ghanaians embedded corruption in their DNA, and we tend to blame others. Anytime fuel price goes up, driver unions quickly increase lorry fares without considering anything. But when the same fuel goes down, they will start talking about spare parts. Paris, Gayere. And this one, it's a screenshot of the 2026 school placement system or app. And this one is coming from Senna at Cove Town. That'll be Kofodia. PHK, good morning to you as well. Says that after logging in for the school placement, this is the response I got after entering my ward index number and her date of birth. So what did you get? These credentials do not match our records. Trouble. Now, Ebenezer, texting from Akachi South Municipality. I want to urge all parents to send their wards to SHS close to them so that they can monitor their wards. Some are angels in the house and dangerous in school. Angels at home, danger in school. That's coming from Akachi. Please, invigilators, are yet to be paid for the BEC supervision. IB from Bole. IB, supervisor, invigilator of WAEC. WAEC, please pay them more. I think they have to be paid by the Ministry of Education, and then WAEC also pays them. Usually that's what happens. And then Nicholas Owusuansa, I think choosing schools after the results are released is a good policy. But it is unfortunate that there seems to be a dubious agenda against private schools this year, which must be investigated seriously. Hey, private schools, they are in danger. According to Mr. Nicholas Ouswansa, the exercise is going to be difficult for some parents because of the poor performance of their awards. Please say something about Miracle Abuaje's matter. I think we mentioned it in the news update. Please go to 3news.com and get the latest of the matter related to Miracles Abuaje. This morning we're not discussing that, but when the time comes, we will. And then I have this one from Alusum from Bolga. The results are so bad that we parents are confused about the schools to select for awards. He even greets us, good morning. Alusum, Bolga, he's worried. It's a good thing for parents to guide their children choosing their different schools. Mustafa Yambone from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. Thank you for watching us from our neighboring country, Burkina Faso, especially the capital, Ouagadougou. I have observed with keen interest the kind of grades coming from WAEC for the private school candidates. And I must say, something fishy is happening at WAEC with the BEC result for the private schools. I'm not making this allegation just to tarnish the image of WAEC, but that I want the good people of Ghana to help the country kill this crime, in quotes, happening. Though I'm a public servant, but I love teaching, so I occasionally go to schools and I say there's a deliberate attempt to kill the private schools.
Really?
Yeah, deliberate attempt, and that's coming from a concerned viewer.
So that's the private JHS schools?
Yes, the private schools.
So is it that the results
British
coming from
curricula
the
and
private schools are bad?
BC curricula.
What does this mean? The results from private schools are bad?
Yes, they expect. You know, the private school results usually should be better than the public schools.
That's what normally happens.
So it means that the wards or the parents of the wards from private schools, maybe the result they are getting is not to their satisfaction.
Unsatisfactory.
Now, can you continue the rest?
Yeah, I'll read more messages for us. I don't understand how the people marked our papers. This was not what we were expecting, because if they give us a paper to rewrite, what we wrote in the BECE, most of us are going to write what we wrote. And I don't understand why we are getting those grades. That's Yvonne from the Upper East region. That sounds like a student who was
a worried
exam.
BEC student.
I see. Maxwell from Girandogo says, I think the children and parents are still selecting the schools based on their interest and not on the result. I am saying this because in the school selection register, they don't indicate when you have this.
They don't indicate that when you have these grades, these are the schools that you can select.
Yes. All right. Paparo and good morning to you all. One of the experiences is that some of us feel the marking didn't go well at all. For instance, in my ward school, those who are very good turned out to have lower grades, and those who are not too good seem to have good grades, and that's shocking to the teachers. And that's from Abiu from Kasoa. Interesting. Good morning, Papa Rowena. The parents should choose schools for their wards based on their results. This will go a long way to strengthen the hustle at the placement center. Kudos to the Education Minister Honorable Harina and APAC for the great move. Warm regards to Honorable Agog Binduru, Vice Chair NDC. And this is from Abugbila Gideon, the Binduru boy.
Godwin.
All right, yeah, Godwin. A very good day, Nashoko, Roland Walker, the rest of TV3 team. BEC results are out. And as parents and Ghanaians, our main concerns are fairness and transparency in school placement, getting preferred schools, possible system challenges, overcrowding, the cost of supporting children in SHS, and ensuring every child gets a fair opportunity to continue their education. All right, more messages coming in.
All right, now.
All right.
We are all ready for you. Welcome.
All right. Charles Mauli from Ahovi says, my ward had aggregate 11, and I hope and pray that the school selection will be smooth for him. Well, congratulations. Aggregate 11 nowadays doesn't come easy. Good morning, Roland and dear Nashoko. We still don't have equity in our basic education sector. On how on earth will you ask students to write 10 subjects in the WASI exams? The ridiculous and obnoxious decision ever given to children in our education. After going through the torture when WAEC will again come out and say that there have been exams malpractices. So certain schools and students' results have either been withheld or cancelled. Our politicians have really failed us. God save Ghana. And this is from Jonathan Akong, media practitioner. So are you saying that 10 subjects are too many?
Yeah.
How many did we write in the past? I think I wrote 10 subjects too.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying 10 subjects are too many. I see. Okay. If you also feel the same way, let us know. Good morning, Roland and Na. The People's President, JDM, has done so well reducing the price of diesel. And yeah, that's what we call a listening precedent. All right. Roland, let me just read a couple of messages which have been sent to my phone. Prince Henry from Koforidua says, God bless John Mahama for the reduction in fuel prices. They're referring to the diesel price reduction. And more messages coming in, but I'm going to ask that from today. You send your messages to our official website.
So we know that you have to
read directly from there.
Yeah, pack up this morning. But before you do that, Dr. Della Glover from Qatar says, so they said Oral was dead. Interesting. The dead Oral got pregnant, carried a pregnancy successfully, and has already delivered. And Kwame Boateng says that it's interesting how the BEC results are panning out. And it's quite interesting as well. Andy Edemagle says the reality is not hitting us. The private schools' performance is dwindling because they fail to employ qualified and dedicated teachers. They set low standard questions for them in schools, and that's what's happening. And then we have to also tell you that we have a lot more. Now, Mary Nyakon, you celebrate your birthday, and then your sister Martha also celebrating the birthday. Happy birthday to you, Mary and Martha. Happy birthday to all of you as well.
All right, we're going to cross over and bring you the big issues in a few minutes. You're watching TV3 Newday. We're also going to be at the New Plant Station this morning talking to the unions and their leaders about the 2% per litre reduction in diesel prices. In the meantime, perk up your day. The Milky Way with rich, smooth taste of Perk milk shortcake. It's a pure delight. And grab one today and enjoy. Stay with us. You're watching TV3 Newday. We'll be right back.
say good morning to all of you who have joined us. Good morning to you as well. Edmond Combat, Managing Director of the Tema Oil Refinery. Just getting the news that the President was over at the Tema Oil Refinery to inaugurate or commission that section of the refinery. And it also means that high praises to you and your team as well. But I have a couple of friends who are doing some great work. So Alfreda Nkwa Abuaje Obanwa, you're going for the Eastern Regional Treasurer of the New Patriotic Party. And I know that you've been working the grounds, the delegates, and you are placed number 3 on the ballot paper. Obanwa Alfreda Nkwa Abuaje, I wish you all the best in that race. And then Prince Henry Kofodria, you say you're going for communication Eastern region for the NDC as well. But this morning we want to talk about a very important issue, and it touches livelihoods not only in Ghana but also beyond as well. And the President issued a directive, and it also meant that the Finance Minister, the National Petroleum Authority, would need to do that. Reduction, we're told, in the price of diesel, 2 cedis, as well as the others likely to be affected in subsequent period as well. But we know that before this announcement, there had been agitations, particularly when it comes to the transport sector, where the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, as well as other transport cooperatives, had given every indication across the country that they were going to increase fares. An increment in fare also means that every item on the market or service will be affected. So we decided to aggregate some of the best individuals to help us do the discussions this morning. I have here the CEO for the National Petroleum Authority, Adiji Tamaklo. Lawyer Adiji Tamaklo, say good morning to you.
Good morning.
And then
good morning to my learned senior and co-panelists.
And then also help us put matters into perspective. The man wearing the Ghana version of the MAGA hat, a former energy minister, serving as deputy minister at the time, and former member of parliament for 2nd D, lawyer Andrew Japame. So say a good morning to you.
Good morning.
And inscribed on that is democracy under attack. I believe it's linked to the Nanabi-led.
Why do you describe it as Nanabi-led?
Well, because he did a press conference.
Well,
okay,
it doesn't matter. He spoke
very well
for and on behalf of the New Patriotic Party. So you cannot isolate him as a person and describe him as the lead of the demonstration. And indeed, it's important that after 33 years of toil, hard work, nurturing our democracy to this point, we all ought to protect it. Because ultimately, if we lose our democracy, I don't know which other system of governance that we all would want to administer the affairs of this state. And if you look at the things that are happening at this present time, when we were promised the reset, so-called, which to the legitimate expectation of many Ghanaians was intended to make things right, we're rather seeing a retrogression in the progress that we've made in our democracy, and it's worrying. So it's important that we all rise and demonstrate to the leadership of our country that Ghanaians will not countenance any attempt to erode the gains that we've made over the past 33 years. Look at what is happening within our judicial space. Weaponizing state institutions against political opponents. Repressive bail conditions that are given when people are arrested. When NDC appointees who were facing justice have been released. Look at the haste with which the dreaded tribunal system was reintroduced. Okay, it's all important that we let our voices be heard. That, Mr. President, this is not a reset that you promised the people of Ghana. So we are calling on all Ghanaians, well-meaning Ghanaians, like-minded Ghanaians who are interested in protecting our democracy to join us on Thursday, 6th of August, to let our voices be heard. Yeah.
All right, joining us also is Dr. Ramsey Nusa. He's Director for Research, the UP. The Chinese trained man is here. Ni hao. Sure. I hope you're well.
I'm doing well.
How's Alan Kojo Chamanting?
He's doing fantastically well. He sends his regard to all of you, the people of Ghana. And indeed, the United Party is grooming the best talents to take over the NDC after 2028. Indeed, Roland, let me say a good morning to your good self and to the good people of Ghana. I would not want to use this as a rebuttal, but to say that it is MPP's own constitutional right to want to demonstrate. But indeed, let us be minded by the facts when it comes to our governance index as far as democracy is concerned, the Afrobarometer report during their tenure, press freedom index and all that. And so I wish them all the best. And indeed, we'll also be looking
all right. Since the matter is not up for discussion,
Roland,
for opposing the opposition.
Let me. Guy G is watching us. Guy G from Cantonment says a happy birthday to Asantwa, aka Nsuta Bruni, of the National Youth Employment Agency.
You said democracy is under attack.
Absolutely, because of the kinds of things that we've seen
2 minutes.
Under the
way of
President John Dramani Mahama.
A good rebuttal to my learned senior. And
it was supposed to be an open.
Yes, but you see, I remained very calm for obvious reason. I knew I have the benefit of a quick response. My senior this morning asserts that Ghana's democracy is under attack. And the basis for this assertion, according to him, is that today bail conditions are obnoxious. Yes. That's the point he makes. Regrettably, my learned senior, who at all material time was a deputy minister, never found anything wrong when a court in this country imposed a bail of 100 million Ghana cedis on no other person but Dr. Kwabena Dufour. Between the two of us, with the greatest of respect to him, Dr. Dufour is an accomplished Ghanaian, deputy governor, minister of finance. Our courts never found the basis to even give him a self-recognizance bail, 100 million, until his lawyers further prayed and it was reduced, okay, to 65, please, I'm coming. To 65 million.
Atu-Forson as well.
Democracy was never under attack.
Atu-Forson was given self-recognizance bill. Add it.
Senior, calm down. When you were talking, I have always maintained that with patience, you'll be able to dissect even the ants.
With patience?
You'll be able to dissect even the ants.
Please wrap up for me.
I'm wrapping up.
But this is not supposed to be part of our discussion.
Please, I beg you. The other thing, at that time, democracy was never under attack. A high court imposed 250 million Ghana cedi bail on Mike Ninaku of Beige Bank. It has to take the Court of Appeal to review that bill to 20 million. Democracy was never under attack. First of all, I think we can be fair in our conversation. If you want to criticize the Mahama administration, it is purely within your constitutional rights. But what we will not accept are the very people who desecrated our democracy, the rule of law, to now suddenly become the apostles of the rule of law and democracy. We will not permit that sacrilege. Unfortunately, our friends in the NPP claim they are friends of the late Dr. Omane Boama. They are friends of Ibrahim Mutala, among others. Exactly 1 year of the anniversary of their passing. That is when they have decided to mock their passing with this ill-timed, ill-conceived demonstration. I feel so sorry today that on the 6th of August, when eminent Ghanaians lost their life and there is planned anniversary for say, that is when the MPP led by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia have decided to desecrate their memory with this ill-timed demonstration. I feel so sorry. I thought these guys are our friends. I never knew that for them, everything is politics. I feel so sad this morning. It's a pity.
All right, so we'll come to the substance of the reasons why you want to rebut again.
Indeed, what rebuttal again? Maybe let that be the topic and let's go into it.
One moment, just a quick one. Indeed, 6th August 2025 was a sad day for many, in fact, all Ghanaians with the unfortunate passing.
Afoko was granted bail by a high court in this country.
Okay.
Look at how the government frustrated him.
Please, I have to stop our comments on this.
Weaponization of state institutions.
Weaponization,
free speech, criminalizing free speech.
Gentlemen, please let's move on to the substantive issue.
I'm coming, please.
For the first time,
remember, big issue is brought to you by the unit. No, let's talk on the substantive. It was just an introductory comment that I expected everybody else. It's okay. It shouldn't degenerate into big issue. Is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast, and right here you can also watch us across TV3 Ghana. And if you want that specialist MBA in marketing, communications, operations, supply chain, HR, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, business, intelligence, analytics, or you also want to advance your dual MBA and chartered manager MBA efforts in your academic career, University of Gold Coast is there for you. I'll tell you how you can reach them, but in the meantime, please make sure that you get onto their social media handles and then get the latest from the University of Gold Coast. Eduje, we know the president says MPA, Finance Ministry, 2 cities of diesel, etc. But it looks like it had been coming and biting hard. Is it that government cannot keep up?
So, first of all, Roland, I want to thank you for the platform. President John Dramani Mahama had clearly given an indication that he cares for the people of this country. That care for the people of this country has gone beyond mere words to actionable relief for the people of this country. That relief that he had provided has seen clear evidence, expression in savings made by the people of this country. And let me put on record, nobody anticipated that on the 28th day of February 2026, we wake up to see the joint attack by Israel and the United States of America on Iran. The fallout is that we have seen prices of refined petroleum products move from $794 per metric ton by 28 February 2026 to a high of 1,333 metric tons. 1,333. That's 100% increase in the FOB price of diesel. What has helped this country is the fact that, and I salute the finance minister, the Honorable Ato Forsen, the Governor of Bank of Ghana, Esiama, the excellent work my brother Sami JMP is doing at the Gold Board, which has significantly provided a clear buffer for the Ghana cedi. In fact, if the Ghana cedi had further depreciated to the 14, 17 Ghana cedi that we witnessed under the tenure of some people, today we'll be selling diesel a liter for 28 Ghana cedis. But for the stability of the Ghana cedi, it has absorbed the impact of almost 80% increase in the FOB price of diesel. That for me is highly commendable. I wish to point out that if you observe the recent increase in petrol prices, as at 29th, Wednesday 29th of July 2026, a metric ton of diesel was selling for $1,333. Please take the numbers. $1,333 per metric ton for diesel. That is a massive increase from what we have experienced. And as a result of this, it has seen a jump in the FOB component. You will notice that there are three critical determinants of prices: the FOB, the exchange rates, and the component of taxes. Taxes and everything is about 21-23%. The impact of the cedi fluctuates depending on how the exchange rate is. But the FOB component is about 60%. So if you are putting weight on them, you will see that the weight attached to the FOB component is very high. So anytime that changes, the impact is always massive. However, the impact on the exchange rate on the pricing is more direct and immediate. So you notice that the pricing is done in windows. So an average of the FOBs are picked. Then, the FOBs, like maybe 14 days, then an average is struck. That is what we use for the purposes of the computation. Roland, as we speak, under the able leadership of President John Dramani Mahama, in the midst of the global uncertainty, the president didn't fold his arm. The president took a leadership position and said, let the state intervene by absorbing the skyrocketing fuel prices. I want to submit today that has brought significant relief to our people. 2 cedis on every liter of petrol, diesel for close to 2 months. That is significant. You cannot underwrite. What it simply means is that for every gallon of diesel purchase, the state is giving you 9 cedis. I'm trying to see whether this thing had happened in the last few years, but for President John Dramani Mahama. I cannot conclude my submission by making this reference. My attention has just been drawn to a speech delivered by former President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo whilst addressing workers on the 1st of May 2022. At that address, the General Secretary of TUC pleaded with His Excellency that, Mr. President, the price of petroleum products are going up. So, Mr. President, with respect, intervene. And I give the date, 1st May 2022. So please, Mr. President, intervene by cushioning. I don't know if your producer is here, Shadrach. Shadrach, please. It's a news report by TV3. Play it. I want to seed the rest so that I am not accused of misleading the public.
Which one? The insert of the president?
The insert
during the May Day parade.
May Day parade.
No,
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I want to see the rest of my time. It's just a 2 minutes video.
To what end and purpose?
The purpose is to demonstrate that 2 presidents had the opportunity to respond to a direct concern of the people of this country. What one said.
Or during the crisis period?
Or during crisis period. What one said and what the other has done. In the specific instance, I recall President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo made the point in response to workers of this country that my government is unable to do anything about the prices. In fact, he makes the point that if he intervenes, government is going to lose taxes. So he opted to protect tax revenue instead of providing any form of relief for our people. I think at this point, and since the incest is a TV3 incest, I would make this humble prayer, Roland, a very humble prayer, that my Exhibit 1 for A1, no, this one will be Exhibit A for A1. Please play that insert. I see the rest of my time.
Well, if Shadrach gets the insert, then he will play. Yeah. So there's a question I want to ask. On the 16th of July, there was an announcement of an increment by one of the OMCs. Then 21st, and then also 24th. That's 3 days later. Then 2 days later, there was another increment that was announced. But yet you say the pricing window and the considerations thereof that are made is a 2-week period. Why did we have that in a space of some 10 years?
Excellent. So what happened? And in fact, this issue, myself and my directors reached out to COMAC and reached out to the seaboard people that there is a window pricing. But we have noticed that within that window, okay, they have taken steps contrary to what has been agreed. And so between us, and you see, I do not want to run an authority that works arbitrarily. And so I have to reach out to these two key stakeholders. We have arranged a meeting even today to address that legitimate concern. So it's a matter. In fact, the meeting was supposed to have happened yesterday. Unfortunately, one of the key stakeholders was actually not within the jurisdiction. And so it's a major concern for the authority. Okay. But we do not want to operate an authority that is whimsical. We want to engage stakeholders, and then we'll know. But again, my prayer this morning is that my Exhibit 1 or Exhibit A be played. I want our people to have a feel in terms of leadership response. Roland, I submit accordingly. May I yield back?
Lawyer Japamesa, your response to the matters that have been put before us and the response from Eduje.
It's surprising that today we are being told that we should praise the man who told Ghanaians when he was in opposition that events that were taking place 7,000 kilometers beyond the shores of Ghana could never, under any circumstance, have any impact on our petroleum pricing in Ghana in 2022. We should praise him today for providing relief in response to matters that are happening 8,000 kilometers away from Ghana. You see, this hypocrisy must stop. Look, I've had the benefit of being in government and working at the Ministry of Energy. And so the last thing that I want to play politics with is petroleum pricing.
Why?
Because it's not within your control, largely. The FOB price that he makes reference to. How is that within the control of President Mahama and his government? How is it within his control? But in 2022, when FOB prices, when the Brent crude price increased as a result of the invasion, the Russian-Ukraine war, to $125 per barrel, he told us that there was no way that that could impact the petroleum pricing here in Ghana. So why today?
He said that?
Absolutely. Your Shadrach hasn't got that tape. You haven't seen it before.
Shadrach, do you have that tape as well? Please
Stop
look for
it. Stop.
It's a morning of
and
tapes.
Let nobody tell us that His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government did not respond. Because you know, as a matter of fact, that the price stabilization recovery levy was suspended during that time. That had the direct physical bearing on government revenue. Last time out in April, what did they do? When they announced the reduction in the petroleum pricing, the relief, do you know what they did? It had no physical impact whatsoever. The excess funds that they had in UPPF, and how UPPF operates is as simple as this. There's a fund that is sitting at MPA that doesn't impact the public purse at all, that we all pay into to ensure that petroleum prices are uniform across the country. That fund is used to pay transporters to move the products from the depots to the fuel stations, right? They then make payments out of the fund based on claims. So most often, indeed and in fact, sometimes the monthly claims exceeds the receipts that they get into the fund. Sometimes it's less. So the fund sits there and accumulate funds to pay the monthly claims. They had excess in that fund. That's what they used to then pay for the suspension of the months that they had removed those, levies from the petroleum price. They should tell us what they are doing today.
The UPPF.
What they are doing, the 2 cedi, where it's going to come from. They should tell the good people of this country.
Where's it going to come from?
Yes, because they couldn't sustain the UPPF removal for long. Doing so would have meant that government will have to find money elsewhere to pay the transporters. So after 1 month of that suspension, they went back. So they should tell the people of this country which line item and all the components that go into the price build-up is known. He knows it. I know it. Which tax component is being reduced to provide the cushioning for the people of Ghana. And that we support the cushioning. And we think that government should do more. Because even if you offset the 1 cedi Dumso levy that they imposed when they came into government, when they told us that it's only a competent government that can impose taxes and levies for prices to remain stable and not increase, per John Jidapo, the finance minister, is strange. I haven't heard from him since these issues came up.
The energy minister.
He's become a mumu all of a sudden. He's forgotten how to speak.
John Jidapo.
Have you heard him speak on the petroleum price increases? Because of the muff that he made in parliament.
Muff.
But what else can you describe it? He knows the facts.
So let me get this straight, Mr.
He knows the issues, but they sit and pretend as if to say that some other government was wicked and Mr. Mahama is the good guy.
Okay.
When you know that he's not.
So let me get. Can I deduce from your submission that you, in principle, because of where you worked and how you worked as a deputy minister or at the energy ministry, you support in detail the 2 cities? But you're asking the question, where is it going to come from?
Absolutely. They should tell the good people of Ghana that, look, there are these line items of taxes and levies, margins. We are reducing the Dumso levy, or we are suspending the imposition of the Dumso levy. We are reducing energy sector recovery levy. We are reducing so much so that there is clarity. So we can monitor and see the fiscal impact and what it's going to have on our public finances going forward. But to come and announce a blanket 2 cedi reduction without disclosing where that 2 cedi is coming from the price build up, for me is deceptive. Because if, like they did the other time, it had no fiscal impact, but it made it look as if to say, government was carrying some burden on behalf of the people of Ghana. It did not.
This is not a burden that the government is absorbing.
But I'm saying the government did not carry it. It is the taxes, the levies that we are paid into the UPPF fund to pay the transportation of the products from the depot to the filling stations that they suspended for a month because there's some excess money sitting in that fund. That money does not go to the consolidated fund. Atoforsen, my good friend and brother, the finance minister, has no control whatsoever on the funds. But there are taxes and levies, including the price stabilization, that goes to the consolidated fund. That has physical impact on government finances. If they forfeit some of that because on the other side, they are getting a huge windfall from the crude price increases, that would be a real burden relief. That's what I'm saying. That they should disclose where the 2 cedis coming from, so we can assess to see whether indeed and in fact government is cushioning Ghanaians or it could do more. Because it cannot be that with the exchange rate that we're seeing today, relative to what it was in 2022, 2023.
What was it in 2000?
It was high. It was 17, 14 cedis when we're leaving government. The exchange rate. Today is 11. The price, and of course the crude, was 125 in 2022. If you look at the relationship between the two, government should be doing more for the people of Ghana at this time.
Not just 2 cedis.
Not just 2 cedis. And it's important for them to disclose. And he sits here, he's worked the numbers, he knows the numbers. He should put it out now for Ghanaians to see that this is where government is making the 2 cedi reduction from, so we can assess to see whether indeed and in fact there's more that can be done, or that indeed government ought to be commended for what it has done at this point.
You support the 2 cedi absorption, but here you think government is being deceptive.
Absolutely. Any relief that has to come to Ghanaians. Of course, I go to the fuel station as well. And any relief comes to me as well. I benefit. And so any relief that government can provide for the people of Ghana, certainly we will support.
Okay.
But I'm saying that be transparent, be open with us.
All right.
Tell us which line item in the petroleum price build-up where this 2 cedi is coming from. And importantly, apologize to the people of Ghana for deceiving them in the past. That external factors had no impact on our petroleum prices, when indeed and in fact you knew that it did. You ought to be apologizing.
You've heard them. At the end of the day, the government or the president needs to make a big-ticket decision. Now, do you allow the system to operate organically as it is and not do the subsidization, so to speak, 2 cedis, or you allow it to inch up and then it has a ripple effect on the various subsectors of the economy, transport, and the baseline is transport. Once transport goes up, even the Makola market woman who imports from China has, even though it doesn't have a direct bearing on Forex, will say that I'm increasing. It has an effect on food, it has an effect on services, it has an effect on every sector, including manufacturing, etc. So the government needs to make that big decision. For you, where should the options lie? This is the best option or not? Or you want to also to Ejapa Mrs. Line of argument?
Well, Roland, let me say a very good morning to Honorable Ejapa Mensah and to Honorable Leonard Council.
Both of them are.
The CEO. Yeah, oh, sorry.
So be careful.
Leonard Council, Ejapa Mensah, and Eduji, Honorable.
If you are not a lawyer, you can't call us Leonard, because you are not.
No problem. No problem.
Your friends who are Leonard.
No, my friends who are Leonard. Fantastic. Let me put it that way.
They are uniting against you from the United Party.
Well, Roland.
Dr. go ahead.
Yes, I think that I stand with any intervention that would cushion the Ghanaian and indeed would safeguard our macro economic environment. Roland, if you look at Ghana's mechanism in stabilizing fuel prices, it is not automatic as compared to what we see in Mexico, right, or what we see in Peru, because they have an automatic price stabilization mechanism that always takes into consideration exogenous factors. You understand? Unfortunately, the issue about ESLA has not been the best, and we know where it is predicated from. The mismanagement of the economy by the MPP and how they manage our economy, including ESLA, today has affected even the 2025 budget because it is unprecedented. And I want to state emphatically that ESLA had a bailout of 12.85 billion Ghana cedis in 2025. Unprecedented in the history of our republic.
Unprecedented.
Unprecedented. Ejudi knows what I'm talking about. Ejapa Mesa knows what I'm talking about.
ESLA.
ESLA. Now, they collateralized ESLA and created an SPV in the form of Dachi PLC and raised bonds to
that
the
one
tune
was ESLA PLC.
Yeah, ESLA PLC.
The Dutch one is
ESLA PLC. And then they raised $1.5 billion to meet the deficits when it comes to our educational infrastructure. Nothing to write home about.
What's your point with this?
My point is that for what we are seeing today and what I would say a credible opposition is seeing today, I think that the prices of fuel have been better at the pump as it would be under the macro environment of the MPP.
Despite the crisis period?
Despite the crisis period, because I like the fact that he's quoted the Russia-Ukraine war. Today, is the Russia-Ukraine war over? The Russia-Ukraine war, is it over?
Russia-Ukraine?
War, is it over?
It's still on.
It's still on. Now we have a new war that has blocked the Strait of Hormuz. So these are two wars as compared to their regime, their time.
So one war then?
Two wars then. But look at the prices. And taking into consideration the amended ESLA Act where a 1 cedi levy was imposed onto our prices at the pump. Roland, let us also look at the cedi and its stability today. From 2022 to 2024, the cedi depreciated by 77%. The cedi between 2022 to 2024 depreciated by 77%. Unprecedented. And then all of a sudden in 2025 appreciated by 41%. So imagine if we were going to continue with this decline under the MPP, what the prices of fuel will be at the pump today. So I am surprised what my brother is saying this morning. And let me reference him to the IMF Policy Notes 2025 that stated that indeed exogenous factors amplified our economic woes because the fundamentals were weak.
IMF
Policy Notes 2025. But they always rush to say that it is the Russian-Ukraine war that has caused the problem. It is the Russian-Ukraine war that has caused the problem. But indeed, if you look at the IMF policy notes, it would state clearly that it was the structure of the economy that they left, that the economy that they sank in abyss, and the mismanagement of the economy that created all these economic woes that we face.
So from what you're saying, you're indicating if you are imprudent in your financial management and the economy is very weak, when you're having all these exogenous factors hitting you,
the forest aspect would cushion you. Okay? Now you cannot compare an exchange rate of $1 to 17 or 18 cedis to what we're having today. Roland, this is beyond common. I mean, it's below common sense. I'll put it that way. You cannot compare the exchange rates then to now, and how the prices of fuel would be at the pump today. And with even the amended ESLA Act, where they've even imposed 1 cedi levy onto the price of fuel at the pumps, we should commend them for what they are doing as a responsible opposition. I would not sit down here and distort the fact that they have managed our macro environment very well, which today is cushioning us. Now, let's go to the real substance of the matter. If you look at our regional average as sub-Saharan Africa, right, the component of tax on our fuel, Ghana is higher than even the regional average of between 25 to 30%. We are about 40%, right? And I think that the time has come for us to relook how we implement our fiscal policy. Because we normally target through the indirect way rather than targeting the direct way of taxing people in our country. And indeed, as a nation, we need to have that discipline to be able to pay more taxes and indeed pay income taxes. Roland, how many of our people pay income taxes in Ghana today? How many of our people pay income taxes? And that is why we are overburdened with indirect taxes. The other thing that I want to see governments do is to reform, and Edwige is here, I'm happy he's here, to reform the MPA. Allow the MPA to be autonomous in deciding the stability of the petroleum prices, rather than taking input from the Ministry of Finance. That would have to use some form of executive instrument to order them to reduce their prices or increase their prices. And there should be an automatic price stabilization mechanism in place, so that at any point in time when the prices of fuel or crude oil increase, the tax reduces. If it is lesser, then the tax increases. Another thing that we have to look at as a country is to invest highly in the tank farms to store and petroleum products, so that at a point where the prices of crude oil is less, government can step in to purchase more diesel and then, petrol. So that when, in times of crisis where the prices are higher, they can then show up supply into the market to stabilize prices. The other issue and other twist to this argument, Roland, is that if you look at our road transport system today, 97% of the energy mix of our road transport system comes from diesel and then petrol. Why are we not looking at EV vehicles? Why are we not looking at vehicles that are powered by LNG, CNG?
In the medium to long term?
In the long term.
Okay.
In the long term. I remember as far back as 2019, I proposed it to the MPP government that let us look at... I did. 19. And I worked on...
At the time you were in the MPP?
I was in the MPP. I proposed it. That, look, if you look at the whole West African sub-region, Roland, most of these trucks that bring in food from Niger, even tomatoes from Burkina Faso, rice from Togo, Nigeria, and all that, right, rely heavily on diesel. And I can tell you that if these trucks are powered by LNG, we will save the cost of transportation by 40%. And that Ghana could have taken that advantage, right, to be a strategic hub for the production of LNG. Under the aegis of the automotive policy that Honorable Alan Kodo-Tramante formulated, we had 6 of the largest global automotive companies that are assembling vehicles here. Zonda is here. And Zonda has vehicles that run on LNG, which we could have leveraged on that. The one
he did as trade minister.
Yes, we could have leveraged on that. If the NDC government, the MPP government, took that proposal seriously and invested in what we were proposing at that time. Roland, then we come to commercial transport. In other jurisdictions, they use CNG, compressed natural gas. We have to look at ways of diversifying our energy mix, so that, indeed, if the price of crude oil is higher, we have other sources that we can tap on to mitigate the issues of inflation on the market. And indeed,
and cushion consumers.
And cushion consumers. Right? And so I want to see that taken up by the NDC. Let's look at CNG. Let's look at LNG. Let's look at also EV vehicles. And I am happy to be one of the proponents championing a chamber for EV vehicles and the EV industry in Ghana. We are putting out, we finalized the charter, and we are trying to work with various stakeholders to ensure that indeed Ghana goes green in the future. And I know that Edwige will not be happy because it is against his interests.
No, to be honest, you see, the ministry is now called Ministry of Energy.
Yes, but I'm just saying that MPA, you use self-petroleum products. So
no. In fact, we have actually diversified into that sphere. You know, I took over from the authority with a gas directorate just to focus on those other alternative fuel. So CNG and all of those matters are conversations that we are even having. Now we are even doing a baseline research to even want to understand if we have about 100,000 EV cars in Ghana today, what will be the impact on fuel consumption? what will be the impact on the electricity consumption? Because that will help us in planning for the future. Okay. So it is a conversation we have embraced.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So these are like Traumatis policy.
Yes. Now,
there's a
government. Yes. Now, Roland, the twist to the matter.
The icing on the cake.
Gold for oil policy. The saints from the MPP, saints in quotes, who are professing solutions today, let them tell us about the gold for oil policy. How much we lost in that policy? 2.15 billion Ghana cedis.
What's your point? They were all parts of the initiative to show up the.
What did it do? It didn't do anything. And if you look at the history of that policy itself, the country that implemented that policy was Israel under the Ramadan War, Yom Kippur War, right? Of which there was an embargo on Israel by the OPEC countries led by Saudi Arabia. Israel had to then divert its, purchase of petroleum products using gold. They did not study that historic situation very well closely. The gold for oil policy, we did not know who were the middlemen or brokers whatsoever. Eduju, are you aware of anything at the MPA? Do you have any records? Roland, do you understand my point? So if you look at no, but my point is that I'm citing because you're an authority.
I get you.
Yes,
I get you.
You understand my point? So the last thing we want to hear as Ghanaians is the MPP trying to criticize or trying to play politics with this matter.
But they have a right, don't they?
They have a right to express. But I'm just saying that their record, they should argue based on their records. Right? They should counter their records. If they have anything to say, they should refer to their records. That's why I'm saying that if you look at the things I have told you about, and even in 2024, ESLA's revenue declined by 6%, where they could not, collect a revenue of 553 million Ghana cedis or so, right? And that is why in 2025, ESLA had to be built up by the government, unprecedented in the history of our republic. So there are challenging issues. We need to go back to the drawing books and diversify our energy mix. Indeed, when it comes to even electricity production, it's nothing to write home about. This current issue that we are discussing would also have an effect on the cost of electricity. Because as we speak today, 70% of Ghana's electricity, right, is produced by thermal power plants, which is not sustainable. It should have been a short-term intervention for Dumso. But in the long term, we should have looked at nuclear. We should have looked like hydro. Roland, do you understand what I'm saying? And this is where sometimes the politics is determining policies rather than sustainable solutions in this country. So indeed, these are discussions that we can have, and we have to be objective. The MPP should be the last political party to
What should they be? They just left government.
Roland, I've just giving you some data. Look at the data, analyze, and
so they should give the government respite?
Oh, Roland, I'm just telling you that if you let a CD decline by minus 77%, somebody has come within 2 years, appreciated by 41%, which is having an effect on the prices of petroleum products. Of course, what we have to do is to commend them and to support them as a responsible opposition for the collective good of Ghana. But not to sit on this platform and try and play politics with this matter.
God bless you.
Edwin, so where do we go from here? The two cities is no.
You move from here to there.
No,
so you're supposed to come to.
So I went.
Oh
to
no,
him.
you yield to him. You yield to him. You yield to him.
See,
Mr. You have the floor.
I am hesitant, okay, in going back to do comparisons of previous administrations and
but you just did 2022
I'm coming. I'm only making reference to the statement that the current president in opposition made. But if you allege that the MPP, right, cumulatively during its tenure, the cedi depreciated by 77%, and you don't go back to do what it is that pertained during the NDC between 2009 to 2016, cumulatively, the cedi depreciated by 111.6%.
That's at what?
15% in 29, 3.1% following year 4.9, 2010, 2011, 17.5, 2012, 14.4, 2013, 31.3, 2014, 15.7, 2015, 9.7.
What were the real figures?
But I've given you year-on-year figures during the tenure of the NDC. He says
you've given percentages.
Yes, of course.
No,
the exchange rate depreciation. He says that the MPP was so terrible a government that cumulatively the cedi depreciated by 77% under its tenure. And so we don't have a right to criticize.
He mentioned 17.
Please, he says 77%.
2022, 30%. 2023, 28%.
And I'm saying that during the first NDC one under President Mills,
saying that,
will you allow me to make my point?
I'm making you.
Please. You sat here
let's go
and listen to him.
So what he said was that the cedi went up to 17.
No.
And then
no.
And then added the 77%. So you have chosen the percentage side. And I'm asking the real figure of.
He said that cumulatively, under the MPP, the cedi depreciated by 77%. You made that point.
That's right.
And I'm saying, and that because of that, the MPP has no right to criticize the NDC, which has appreciated the cedi during 1 year by 44%. That's your point. And I'm saying, if that is the case, then go back to the period between 2009 and 2016, when under the NDC, the cedi depreciated cumulatively by 111.6%. Let's not do this.
Comparisons.
You see, look, let's be candid with the data. So if MPP was bad, how would you describe the NDC? Yet you say that we should praise them and not talk. When we know that all the fundamentals that were laid as a result of the difficult decisions that the MPP took post the crisis. And look, I agree. You may characterize it any which way you want. But I will never accept that the MPP mismanaged the economy. Because we inherited issues. We did. We inherited issues in the energy sector. We inherited issues in the banking sector. We made policy choices which had implications. Akufo-Addo could have elected that, well, these bills are not bills that are incurred, so I'm not going to pay. We would have slept in darkness for that period. Okay? But he made a policy choice that, look, these bills ought to be paid so we generate productivity. And so, rather than wait for 5-6 years for ESLA proceeds to trickle in, whilst I'm unable to pay my bills, let me take some debt up front to settle the IPPs and then use the proceeds to service the debt that I've contracted to pay the bill. That's the collateralization of the ESLA. And you say what? It was a policy choice. Now, when COVID came, the government could have elected that it wasn't going to borrow to improve or protect the lives of Ghanaians. But it made a policy choice that it was going to discard economic indicators and borrow to ensure that Ghanaians were protected. It came with a cost, such that, yes, when the Russian-Ukraine war occurred, our finances had deteriorated to the point that we had no choice than to go to the IMF. It was a policy choice. It wasn't mismanagement. But you can characterize it any which way you want. The point is,
so what you're saying is that the sum of the policy choices that the
of course, and
government
and the
made, that's what took us to the IMF.
And same way the policy choice that the MPP made, which had political cost, was the debt restructuring that the NDC is benefiting from today.
How?
The IMF program, it came with consequences. Your own look at the IMF document.
Self-inflicted.
But I'm saying that it was a policy choice.
Yeah.
If those debts had not been paid, if the Akufo-Addo government had not borrowed to deal with those matters.
So now the DDEP was a good thing.
But of course it was.
But it had the cost. It had the political cost. The IMF exit document itself.
The pension funds and all those things that
I'm
went
saying that yes, that's the
good thing.
That was the sacrifice that the Ghanaians had to make.
But as a result of the poor policy choices, according to you.
I haven't said it was a poor policy choice.
Okay, but as a result,
don't put words in my mouth.
I'm not
please.
putting words.
I'm only saying,
as a result of the policy choices that were made, that
I'm
you
saying
say
to you that
have a political.
It was the policy choice that we made into restructuring our obligations had a cost. The cost was that the MPP suffered electorally, but the benefit was that it cleared the way for the economic recovery that we are witnessing today. And I'm crediting the Ghanaians who had to bear the cost, the brunt of that policy choice for the sacrifice that they made in ensuring that we are able to put back our economy back on track. Read the IMF exit documentation. It clearly acknowledges the policy choices that the MPP administration made, which then paved the way for the economic recovery. Yes, of course.
That restructuring was good.
I'm saying that it had a cost. That restructuring, both external and domestic, the external provided us significant relief that has helped in shaping our debt to GDP ratio today. It's a matter of fact. But that choice cost us. But it was a choice that we had to make for the broader interest of the people of Ghana and the economy of Ghana. When His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo said in 2020, in the heat of the COVID, that the economy we know how to bring back, but human lives we did not know how to bring back when we lost, was a policy choice that he had to make in putting our economic fundamentals in jeopardy, purely to protect the Ghanaian citizen. And he did.
A lot of our viewers are surprised that you are saying that the DDP or the external debt return was good.
But it was a good policy.
Seriously?
But of course, if we hadn't done that, our economy would not have turned around.
But you are indicating that
but I've told you how we got there.
You said the policy choices that the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government took.
You overborrowed.
Which had political cost.
I'm saying, see,
as a result of that.
Roland,
yes, sir.
Thankfully, I'm not speaking to you.
Right.
Thankfully, I'm speaking to the discerning listeners and viewers who are watching us. The point that I made was very clear. That the MPP administration, when we came into government, we inherited issues that we needed to deal with. How we dealt with them was to borrow to deal with them. Such that by the time that COVID came and Russia and Ukraine war came, and by the way, the supply chain disruptions that were occasioned in the immediate aftermath of the Russian-Ukraine war hasn't persisted throughout. So let it not be said that because the war is still there, that in itself ought to necessarily have an impact on our economy going forward. Please, let's be sincere with our discourses, okay? But the point that I'm making is that those choices, right, had a cost that cost the MPP politically. But economically,
people lost money as a result of the DDP.
But that's why I'm crediting them with the sacrifice that they made. But the choice was a good choice economically. But it impacted people. I'm not under any stretch of the imagination discounting the impact.
Is it not rather that we have no choice than to do the DEP?
Please. Akufo-Addo could have elected to do many other things. But the debt restructuring was important because at the time, the market that we are relying on in the past, succeeding government status, of course, our economy had been downgraded.
Yeah.
Many other issues contributed to that, including your parliament. Your parliament.
The 136, 137.
Yes. I haven't said the MPP NDC side.
No, our parliament, the Republic of Ghana and the 16th parliament.
Breached the law. Are you aware?
But you are a member of that parliament.
But I'm saying that your parliament breached the law that itself had passed. And precisely Section 22 of the Public Financial Management Act, which enjoined Parliament to do 3 things by 31st December. Approve the budget, pass appropriations and revenue measures that will go to implement the budget. The Parliament of Ghana breached that law. It had consequences. So let's not sit and pretend as if to say, yeah, we can play all the politics we want. blame Akufo-Addo's government, say all the kinds of characterizations that we want. I don't have any difficulty. But the fact still remains, but for those economic decisions that Akufo-Addo government took, which had positive long-term benefits, albeit impacted Ghanaian citizens whose funds were jeopardized, right? To the extent that it cost us politically, we wouldn't be seeing the kind of economic turnaround that we've seen under the NDC. These are matters of fact. Any which way you twist it. And that said, I'm not saying that they haven't done some, because you reference gold for oil. It had issues.
Okay, now you're admitting it had issues.
But it had issues.
Okay, great.
Same with gold purchase program has issues and losses that are being recorded on Bank of Ghana's books. But if it wasn't a good policy, why have they consolidated it into gold board? So you learn. You make corrections to issues that are associated with the policy and improve it for the better. And that's exactly what this government has done that we all commend. Albeit the fact that indeed and in fact, as we speak, gold board is incurring losses. Okay? But that said, monetizing our gold or natural resources in itself is a good policy. And at the time when we introduced gold for oil, it was precisely to stop the forward pricing of what you call it, that the BDCs were using to price petroleum products, or at least reduce it to some minimum to have a handle over petroleum prices. And that, in fact, succeeded. So what are you talking about?
COPEC disagrees with you. Go and check COPEC.
All right, COPEC disagrees with you.
Go and check the report.
So there's a substantive question I intended to ask you. So where do we move from here? This is supposed to last for 2 months. We still have 1 month. Okay, we still have the stalemate. Small time, the US or Trump goes to bomb. There are reprisal attacks also from Iran in retaliation, etc. It destabilizes the market. So what does it mean for us, the consumers?
Roland, listening to my senior this
morning, this one, you seem very calm.
I noticed that my senior has been saying a lot. And obviously, I can imagine the difficulty he finds himself. You see, like I told you to try play the video settles the conversation. You see, how a president reacts when things are normal is different from how a president reacts when there are crises. And I'm making the point that President John Dramani Mahama faced with an unprecedented crisis. Look, the literature today shows that the blockage of the Strait of Hormuz is the biggest energy crisis since 1972.
Since the 1972 crisis.
Since the 1972 crisis. This is the there's no energy crisis compared to this one. So you cannot this morning try to equate the events in Russia, Ukraine to what is currently happening on the Strait of Hormuz. You can't do that. Even most importantly, this morning, my learned senior says, President Mahama in the past said Ukraine is far from. It was in direct response. If you recall, in 2015, after Minister Setekwe had read the budget, cocoa prices of crude started falling. Never imagined. From $85 to almost $40 for crude. At that time, when government said that crisis had impacted on its finances, not long, Dr. Baobia, then opposition running mate, did a press conference and said, what is the Mahama administration talking about? Did these exogenous factors escape Ivory Coast and others to come to Ghana? So it was in that response, that context, that President Mahama said, then you cannot also today be using Russia-Ukraine war as this thing. But you see, my senior tried to do some voodoo economics and analysis this morning. Why do I say voodoo? He knows that Esla PLC the ESLA receivables had the capacity to retire even the legacy debts.
45 billion cedis.
No, but he said they had.
Please. 45.
They have to take an important policy decision.
Listen,
and then subsequent
45 billion Ghana cedis ESLA receivables from 2015 December to the time.
Go there.
Please, I am there.
Don't.
Until they left office. Unfortunately, do you know what happened? What exactly did they use the ESLA receivables for? When they decided to set up the ESLA PLC and decided to securitize the receivables, what became the end? I've made this point repeatedly, that in 6 years, in fact, less than 6 years, over $11 billion of Eurobond is what we went for. That $11 billion of Eurobond, there's no Kumasi Expressway constructed with it.
I have to interject.
There is no Swami interchange deal with that. There is no hospital built with that. There is no Fualugu done with it. There is no...
With respect.
Okay.
With respect. Let's be factual.
But that's a fact.
No, it's not. Because you know that the Eurobond proceeds that were contracted, a chunk of it was used to refinance previous Eurobonds that have been contracted.
So that's
you know.
So
you know,
see, so
as a
let
matter
me
of
make
fact.
my point. Let me
so
make
if
my
you
point.
put out a blanket statement that the Akufo-Addo government contracted 11 billion Eurobonds,
it's a fact.
To then suggest that they had 11 billion to do infrastructure projects.
Is it not a fact?
And according to you,
how much of it
which
did
is
you
not
use
even the case
for the debt,
It's
reprofiling of our debt?
all there. The data is there. About 60% of it.
Please,
it all goes into reprofiling
of
previous
Eurobond
debt.
40%, what did you use?
Consumption. What do you mean by consumption? And what you're saying? You have a budget that has a revenue and an expenditure component.
You are done.
Some of the revenue goes into recurrent expenditure. Some goes into capital expenditure. You fund the budget with that money.
You see,
what is the meaning of all this?
The Akufo-Addo administration got more tax revenue than any administration proud today coming to power. So beyond the tax revenues that you got, you also got Eurobond. Even let's say, for the sake of your argument, that 60% were for the reprofiling of existing debts. The 40% of that $11 billion of Eurobond, where are the hospitals? Where are the roads? Where are the expressways? None whatsoever.
Well, there's Agenda 111, even though it wasn't completed.
Oh, please, Agenda 111 was not financed with Eurobond.
Yes,
Don't
I know, but...
put up this claim. But you see, this morning, my interest is to talk about leadership response to crisis. And I am saying that President John Dramani Mahama has demonstrated fortitude, care for the people of this country, that in the midst of crisis, he didn't fold his arm. Look, if I tell you how my minister, the Honorable John, doctor, in fact, he's a GTech certified PhD, where he's made the point clear as early as Saturday, he has been on me about these fuel prices. So, Senior Jepa, if you don't see him on TV, jumping here and there, it's because he's finding solutions to basic problems confronting our people. And for me, I believe that that is what leadership is all about. Look, my attention has just been drawn to a publication on my joy, where my senior had to debunk a story about government asking Guel or so to reduce fuel prices and others. Because even at that time, we were expecting the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo to intervene for our people. Unfortunately, it never happened. So let us have it clear. Now, you also make the point that, UPPF funds, excess UPPF funds had been used. First of all, the UPPF fund, for all intent and purpose, are government funds for whatever is worth.
You know, government funds go into the consolidated fund.
No,
EPPF
it's not all government funds.
All government funds, all public funds go into the consolidated fund.
Senior, you know, not all public funds go into the consolidated fund. They don't lose their
the Constitution.
They don't lose their publicness because they didn't go into the consolidated fund. So the point I am making is that if President Mahama, in this critical moment, decides to intervene and to make life easier for our people, that is what it is. When my brother Inusa was making the analysis, Inusa, let me even add something to it. Do you know that we will be selling fuel today at 28 cedis per liter if the exchange rate was even at 14 Ghana cedi to $1? Yes. Simply by making sure that you resolve the exchange problem. That is what has brought the relative calmness in the pricing. If not by now, because already your FOB is going up, your exchange rate is also depreciating very quickly. The two impacts are huge. And so prices would have skyrocketed. Okay. But it has taken thinking outside the box to keep us here. The point I am making is that, look, Senior Japa is here. Look, beyond our politics, you would agree with me, would you not, that for a government to introduce even gold board initiative, which today has ensured that forest repatriation alone into the economy is over $10 billion. This $10 billion, Senior, you would agree, that would have been in private pockets. Today, the state is able to move this thing. Today, our reserves have shot up in unprecedented numbers. These things are not matters that happen with magical, expectations. Thinking outside the box. There are men handling the economy today who with confidence...
Your time is
okay, up. Who with confidence and competence have been able to keep
Duncan it's on the stream, so let me quickly...
You can't take that away from them.
Dr. Inusa, you talk. I'll give you some 2 minutes before you end. But Duncan Amwa is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPE. Good morning to you, Duncan Amwa.
Roland, thank you. Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, the decision made by the president, very impromptu, but also a great relief. If you take a look at this, the period for its sustenance, what happens after? If, let's say, we have the crisis in the Middle East still ongoing, what do we do?
Thank you, Roland. I would first of all say that Mr. President had a spot on. Indeed, if you look at where diesel had risen to, the ordinary Ghanaian who probably would need diesel would have been quite worried. And so if you are a leader faced with these choices, you may have to make a decision, albeit that will come at a certain cost somewhere. I think that if you had to choose between saving 220 million plus or probably letting that give your economy some relief, Mr. President made the right call, obviously. Sustainability, Roland, I do not think this is sustainable. This is something that would go into a longer term planning for, because at the end of the day, Israel is not done. Iran doesn't look done. The United States has got its own demands out there that it is still negotiating for. So you'll recall, we get told that they are close to a deal, and then suddenly there's some spike or rise in hostility somewhere, and then we are back to the same tables again. So I would caution that we do not even get overly optimistic with what is prevailing, in the sense that it could get better, it could get also worse. And so if there's something we can do significantly different, in order that we do not have to force the hand of the state or the government going forward into throwing in these subsidies, that I would go for, as opposed to just waiting for things to get to a heated position. And then we come back to say, look, we are absorbing 2 cities or 3 cities out of a UPPF fund. There are specific uses for these funds. And I think that the indication you may get if you hear that some of these huge sums can be contained within a fund is that clearly those funds are quite, they've outlived their usefulness, or better still, they've been just pumped up against the consumer. The consumer pays for those monies already. And so if you still get surpluses running into the hundreds of millions, then maybe it's high time we rationalize the UPPA. But that is not to say this intervention is a bad thing, no. For me as a consumer who would wake up in the morning looking for how much it's going to cost me to put fuel in my tank, I think that Mr. President did get this spot on again. But over the medium to long term, something really different would have to be done, and for which, Roland, we have requested time without number that a strategic reserve program be embarked upon. You cannot continue to have all the big tanks, dotted across the Temakpon enclave, boss tanks across Bupe, across Boga, across Kumase, and some tanks across the western enclave. And then again, you have private tanks. And then you cannot talk of 1 liter of strategic oil that the government can claim to own, which it can use if, assuming prices were to even get from the current levels they are to even, bigger numbers. We do not have a liter. We continue to treat BOST as though it was set up for trading. I do not think that is what happened in '93. We were quite specific in our minds as a country that you needed a certain type of Oklahoma cushioning, although this will be for finished products, to store some amount of products that in bad times, such as we have now with the Strait of Hormuz situation, we can fall on some of these stocks to be able to mitigate prices, particularly for our people, and then again, fuel security demands for our people. But as it stands, we've deviated, long deviated, Roland. And so BOST has now been left to behave as though it were just a BDC arm. In the past, you only hear them talk of making profits and we should clap for them. I have said no. That is not what we set you up for. You are to work to ensure that there's fuel always available to the Ghanaian people. And in times as these, when prices do get so high, we can fall on our strategic reserves. That would need to be paid for. And I think that the decision would need to be made urgently so that some amount of the taxes, either existing or some introduction or new ones, could come in to say that, look, every liter Ghanaians buy, there's 5 pesos, 10 pesos, 20 pesos. That goes into a strategic reserve program that is used to buy fuel when prices drop. As we are expecting currently, prices may come down.
Okay.
If they do, you can buy and store some amount of fuel. If you get them for $500, $600 a metric ton. If you wake up a week to come, and it's gone to 800 or 1,000 or 1,003, Roland, it will be safer to trade or roll out the one you bought for 500, 600 when prices were cooler than to continuously go on the open market, continue to import at 1,000, 2,003 to come sell for full cost recovery plus margin. If we do not begin to plan, Roland, I don't see how we'll be out of these doldrums anytime soon. I don't think again.
But you say that relatively. But you say that relative to other countries, we, irrespective of how perhaps we should have been more effective with the box storage parts of what BOST should be doing, we seem to have managed the situation a bit better or quite well than same or like countries. Is that not it?
Roland, you see, I hasten to go into those conversations because then again, it won't sound good to other people because, one, Ghana is an oil protein nation. If you look at best practices out there, there's conflict happening in the Gulf, right, as we speak. You can check the cost of fuel in the countries across the Gulf, Oman, Qatar, Saudi, the UAE itself, Iraq, Kuwait. You can check the cost of fuel across those places. Even for other oil-producing countries across Africa, you can just check the cost of fuel. You will be surprised that because of planning, where the bombs are flying, their fuel costs do not exactly become so steep, so high, because the bombs are flying across those places. Ukraine has been at war for such a long time with Russia. You can just do a Google check immediately. Fuel doesn't become instantly expensive as happens in our part of the world, where we are simply price taking. Everything that happens in Suriname or Sri Lanka or anywhere in the world, the Ghanaian fuel consumer will have to pay for it. Something has got to be planned for, because the countries where the bombs are flying still are able to manage their fuel cost, and it's cheaper than what you have in Ghana.
All right. Duncan Amwa, Executive Director for COPEC, thank you for spending your time with us. I know that others will also call you on the subject. Inusa, just 3 minutes on this and then we'll wrap up.
Yes, Roland, I think that it is factual and objective to state that things can be better. But I think that if not for certain interventions, things would have been worse than they are today. My brother, Honorable Mesa, intimated that, yes, indeed, the MPP cannot be blamed for the economic mismanagement. There are so many things that I can cite, even with this, his sector, the energy ministry, when he was a deputy minister. Do you remember the cost of moving Ameri from Western region to Kumasi? How much it cost at that time?
So it was supposed to augment power.
But how much did they spend for bringing it from Turkey to Ghana? How is it that a cost, the distance from Turkey to Ghana, that is longer, right? Is more than the distance from Accra, Western region to Kumasi. I mean, let's deduce.
When you're using marine transportation.
My point is that it cannot be as they have spent. That's what I'm trying to let you understand. There's an audit to that effect, and he understands what I'm talking about. Roland, let's look at even the banking sector cleanup exercise. An issue that needed 9 billion cedis. You spent 25 billion cedis.
You will explain that.
Right? So these are the examples of mismanagement, Roland. So now, this is the solution that we want to profess to the people of Ghana and to the government of Ghana. Roland, look, let us go back to the vision of Nkrumah. And yes, and revitalize the Volta Lake Transport Company Limited so that we can be able to transport goods, right, and food items from the north to the south. Which will save up cost of transportation, which then has a pass on inflation onto the end consumer. Let us begin to have a very honest conversation about railway links between our various regions. And I believe that if we're able to integrate railway infrastructure, that today I can wake up in Accra today, the next morning you can see me in Kumasi effortlessly. We should be able to revitalize this agenda. And indeed, it will go a long way to diversifying our transport means as a country so that we can be able to mitigate the issues of exogenous factors when it comes to the prices of crude oil.
Thank you so much. Ramsey Nusa, Dr. Ramsey Nusa, then Edu Jitamaklo, thank you as well. And Thursday, right?
Why? I don't have 3 minutes to respond to.
No, you have.
No, you've responded to all
I think everybody else. You have.
Today you gave him the time, but we knew that.
You spoke more than I spoke.
Yeah, we knew you won't have much.
You spoke more than
even though he has
erroneous and often cited cost of the banking sector cleanup. I challenge him to provide on the next platform that he appears here, the document that says that the banking cleanup required 9 billion.
But that's what you said.
Provide it.
You said that is the liquidity.
Initially.
What liquidity what? Liquidity what?
To save votes.
In 2025.
Anyway, our time is up. Big issue is brought to you by the University of Gold Coast. And the good thing is that their microphones are off. Now, Big Issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast.
Are we coming back next week?
Whether you are aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing communications or operation supply chain, HR, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, business intelligence analytics, or you want an advanced dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, the University of Gold Coast is giving you options that are unmatched. They indeed match your vision. So make sure quickly you get in touch with them. If you're a worker, they make it easy with their curriculum and their timetable for you to go to school. And then you can also pay your fees in installments. Please get in touch with them now on the website www.ugc.edu.gh, or you can also call them as quickly as you can, 026-388-8555. Well, that'll be it for now, and we'll bring you the details of our sports headlines. Remember, Na Ashoko is the Kwame Nkrumah Circle lorry station area. That'll be new plan. Giving to us the latest update, reaction of the GPRT and the drivers to the reduction or the subsidization to cities by the president as directed. We'll be back with the latest sports headlines. Stay with us.
their place in the quarterfinal, to the shock of many, because when it comes to women's football, North Africa, some 3-4 years were not even that close when it comes to teams that are strong on the continent. These days, they've put structures in place, pumped a lot of money in, brought a lot of girls who were born outside of the country, who had their football doctrine outside, being part of their team. Yesterday, we saw Morocco. Even though they drew their game, they managed to qualify to the next stage. Algeria is the team that has surprised many, trust me, because we didn't expect Algeria to have that strong team. They won 2 games out of the 3 they played in the group, and now Algeria are also in the quarterfinals. Still, just one more shot before they get into the semi-final and could be part of the team that will be representing Africa actually in the 2027 FIFA World Cup. So that is the latest coming in. Even though Morocco had an opportunity of winning because they missed the penalty in the process, but I mean, they had already done the greater part of the work in the other group games, so it wasn't really a problem for them. And so Senegal are going home and Kenya are also going home. So for now, it's Morocco and Algeria who have qualified from Group A and are into the quarterfinals, awaiting what happens today in Group B. So we can
wow, she can't believe it. Look at this for a delivery onside.
Up for today because a lot of action is expected, especially in Group B, to see which teams would also qualify. What is at stake for these teams is not just to win the trophy, but to get a place in the Women's World Cup, which will come off in Brazil in 2027. So today it's Burkina Faso against South Africa. This is a must-win game for the Banyana of South Africa. Any result apart from a win will see them head back home because they have just 1 point at the moment. Then there's Tanzania against Ivory Coast as well. Ivory Coast are in a very good position, and a win in today's game would also see them qualify to the next stage. But for South Africa and Desiree Ellis, they can't afford to drop points today.
Well, so, but it also means that the tournament should be heading to a certain level currently when it comes to where we're going to place, which nations are doing so well, etc.
Yes, and that is where the Black Queens come in. So now the Black Queens have started their recovery session ahead of that crucial game that will be playing against Mali. Since 2007, Roland, we've not been to the Women's World Cup. The last time we went, it was the Ajua Bios. It's a long time ago. So we are bidding to go back to the Women's World Cup and we want to be part of the 4 teams that will be representing Africa. We have 3 points at the moment, lost our second game against Cameroon. Now we are playing Mali on Thursday, and it's a must-win game for us. It's a game that we can't afford to lose at all because any result apart from a win or a draw would see Ghana head home. And this is a team that finished 3rd in the last edition. We won bronze. So if we were using last season's or the last tournament, Ghana would have qualified for the Women's World Cup. But CAF says, no, we'll play another tournament. So we have to repeat that same feedback. It's been a bit difficult for us in this journey. We've not really stamped our authority. And now anything that we do about the Black Queens is brought to you by Goldfields Ghana. They are the ones supporting the Black Queens. They say that since 2005, they've supported Ghana football, the Black Stars, and this time they are turning their attention to women's football and giving all the support to the Black Queens. So Goldfields Ghana is backing them, and we are hoping that on Thursday they will recover in time to get that victory over Mali.
Well, after their participation in the WAFU Zone B under 20 tournaments, they are here, the Black Satellites.
They are back in Ghana. Coach Maxwell Kunodo has been speaking. He says that, well, we failed at the tournament, but these are not the boys that I'll be using in the under-20 AFCON next year. I would make a lot of changes to the team. He's had a lot of backlash with the performance that Ghana exhibited at the tournament. Played just 3 games. We lost 4-2 against Nigeria. Then we drew 1-1 against Burkina Faso. Then against Togo, we thought that, okay, this is the game that we would win and find our way into the next stage of the competition. Shockingly, we drew goalless in that game, and that means that we exit the tournament. The good thing for us is that we will be hosting the Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations in 2027. So we qualify by virtue of being the host nation. If not, we would have been crying by now. So the team is back. Marcel Kunedu says we need to do a lot of preparation towards the Under-20 AFCON next year. Not just the government will also have to do a lot because they would have to refurbish a lot of the infrastructure that we have to be able to host the tournament. And the sports minister was on TV3, and he spoke about the fact that a lot has to be done because currently the state of our stadiums do not merit to host CAF competitions.
They're not in the best of shape.
Yeah, not at all.
All right, but Glasgow, the Paralympic team of Ghana, there's some controversy brewing.
Yes, yesterday there were reports circulating in the media that 2 members of the Paralympic team have fled or left camp. But the Paralympic Committee have come out to deny that these are unverified reports and are not true because the athletes are returning in badges. So if you see 2 people at the Kotoka airport and you don't see others, it doesn't mean that the other people have left camp or some way somehow ran away, as we always say. They've not run. They are still very much in camp and will be returning in batches. So yesterday they denied that because the reports were circulating. Everyone was talking about it. Then often we have athletes going to competitions and deciding to flee and leave camp and not return back to their homeland, especially with Ghana. So this time the Paralympic Committee says that is not true. Those reports are not true. Our athletes are returning in batches and everyone is expected to come back to Ghana.
Well, that'll be it for now. You can get to the latest social media handles we have, not only for TV3, but also
3 Sports GH on all socials. You get the latest there. We have long form interviews, short forms, every content that you want on sports, we have it.
Well, thank you very much, Mutala, with the latest advice. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll have more for you right here on the show.
My heart, my soul, my love, my life. Nobody can fuck with it. Thunder.
School boarding student, EduPac, the Ghana Education Service approved and supported National Senior High School facilities is available for you, and it's very important for all of you to also get to know that EduPac is approved and supported by the Ghana Education Service and implemented by Prospectus Ghana, and is now in progress across all secondary schools in the country. Parents across Ghana are already registering so that their children's trunks, for example, Macintosh mattress, pillows, as well as plastic chalk boxes will all be ready and waiting at their school before reporting day. And so what they are telling you is that do not delay and be caught in the usual last-minute market rush, carrying heavy items under pressure. With EduPac, your child does not need to travel to school with these 4 essential items. So just get to register simply by dialing *713*821#. You also get to visit ADB branch nationwide or go to www.edupacgh.com. Make payment, keep your receipt, and present it on opening day to collect all your child's EduPac items. Your EduPac registration follows you to any senior high school of your choice where you are placed. Avoid the stress, avoid the rush, and also get to prepare to go to school as a fresh student with confidence. All at a very affordable price. EduPac, approved and supported by the Ghana Education Service. Now you have to call them on the following line: 0500 600 607 or 030 29 550 50. EduPac, no stress, no wahala. We again told you that we have Na Shoko at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange area at one of those transport yards, the new plan yard, just to give us the latest updates to the transport sector's reaction to the 2 cedi subsidy that has been provided by government on petroleum prices or petroleum products, so to speak, at the pumps. So what did they make of it? We'll take you to that venue in a bit, but in the meantime, it's also time to make that move. It's time for a cold Malta Guinness. When the mind, body, and Malta Guinness unite, nothing is beyond your reach. Vim up your daily pursuit with the revitalized taste of Malta Guinness, all packed with vitamins B, and then also when you can take it, you get to charge forward towards your goal with each sip of its nourishing natural goodness. Now with a new look, remember to always look out for the proudly made in Ghana symbol or stickers on every bottle of Malta Guinness. Malta Guinness, we move. Well, before we go to now, let's do some birthdays as quickly as possible. And all right, so we'll quickly get to have some birthdays. Nancy Jemfua from your sister Irajua and the family. Happy birthday to you, Nancy. Gilbert Quiz, you celebrate your birthday from your family. They're wishing you more success and more grace, peace of mind, and endless blessings. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Quist. 82 years old you are, Mrs. Regina Kwale Papo from the Quarty and Papo family based in Achimota. Auntie Regina, Nyumwajobo, Amuji Augustine, Mr. Amuji Augustine, God richly bless your new age and your new marriage as well from your brother based in Tema, Saviola. Senior Saviola, happy birthday to you. Mrs. Marinyako Hlomashi of Accra, God bless you, my dear. It's coming from Mr. Edem Hlomashi, your husband. Happy birthday to you, Mary. Asantwa, aka Insuta Bruni of Youth Employment Agency, happy birthday to you. And then also Ruben Adawu from Lawrence Adawu, happy birthday to you. And then 50th birthday, Cynthia Buedu, you're the mother of our own Jennifer, and the beautiful Jennifer really took good genes from you. And it's all from not only Jennifer, but the rest of the children and the entire Amo family. Sister Cynthia Buedu, happy birthday to you. 50 years, Charlie, no mean feat. Emmanuel Jila, accountant for Eliho Ghana Limited, based in Cape Coast, from Jennifer Meuga. Happy birthday to you. CEO of Lorraine Couture, you're a hard-working, astute, and industrious woman. It's coming from Echo TV3. Wow. Janet Owusu Dapa from your loved ones, Andy and Ajua Yeboah. Happy birthday to you. Queen Charity Etonam Wood, you're celebrating your birthday. May the good Lord bless you. It's from Big Dillon as well. Anthony Wood, you're also celebrating your birthday. Happy birthday to you. And then we also have more coming through. And also Esther Kwe, you're celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, Esther Kwe. God bless you. And then also Bernard, God bless you as well. You're celebrating your birthday from your friends and family, and they say they love you. And then Mama Queenie, happy birthday to you. You're celebrating your birthday is from Owaski. God bless you so much. Joyce Jifafoli of Eagles Joyce Jifafoli of Eagles Shipping Company Limited, based in Tema. And then Mavis Enyona Manyomi of VRA Netco from Deborah Donko, happy birthday to you. And Estina Ado of Calvary Women's Fellowship, happy birthday to you. Now let's go to the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area where the new plant station Na Ashoko is talking to transporters this morning.
To you live from the Circle New Plan station, and we're here because President John Dramani Mahama has directed a 2 cedi per litre reduction in diesel prices to help cushion consumers. Now we're here this morning to talk to some of the drivers, the station master and passengers to find out if this reduction would affect their business in any way. Pacho, good morning.
Good morning.
Pacho, you're frozen.
Indofori.
Pacho, what to say about 2 cedi if he diesel so?
Pacho.
Now, who are you saying?
Yeah, but I be say good, but me to me no any good. If you say, Tama yeji fair no 10 cedi from Circle to Adentano, na yeji 10 cedi. But Mama buy no over 2 full no at 14 cedis 99 pesos. On not TFN no so call 8 cedi from Adenta to a friend is Circle to Adentano. Na yeji 10 cedi, and I bet you so called 8 cedis 50 pesos. And not full and also from 14 cedis 99 pesos, no 2, 12 cedis 98 pesos. So what I say, but says no, full and as aqua and draqua 19 cedis 90 something pesos.
I said say at so into say
at any free say yati I didn't know 14 cedis 99 pesos, and I bet you so called 12 cedis 98 pesos. Now, 10 cedi no at fairness, I call 8 It's 50 pesos. Now say what's also they call back to a friend is 17 cities. It's not fair.
And say come say heading.
You see that said phone number call back to 12 cities 98 pesos and now say you take our fare back.
Me that say. They say na yati no mo beti a fare so and amount fare so.
No, I don't see the reason why we should reduce the fare again.
Me that say only akasa. So there you heard Mr. Ofori there. I'm joined by another person. What you're saying?
Ebacho, me the Godwin or say.
Godwin, we are driving here now.
Me a conductor.
We are conductor.
Yeah.
Now what to say at this also 2 cities?
And operi na me who say yatiso.
Now who is saying?
Madam, very poor. Very poor. Due to the fact that say driver for yeni kama for and I say yenfa PhD and I say degree in Chicano doesn't tell say ejumana no we don't have value. We have value, an absolute value. Say omare ebeko animu a untimi nya driver for ni mate for yin film. Da be untimi yin film. The ntina untimi yin film. Obi wododo wa or ya banjuma wa Accra. From Dodo to Accra untimi chata Uber enfamba. Trotro driver ebeko akofano. By trotro driver krona so no ana yembu no. The ntina yembu no. Under administration of NPP nanado Mr. President Mahama Bayo bete so fuwe no so no na oja 16 nanado kono oja 16 ana Mr. Mahama ebete so by 13 ana obedi dacte your transportation by 15%. But look at this, what 15% no fuwe no increment no what the ababa 4 times even last week or two times, but one for 1 person across to transportation so that's very poor. Very poor because esia no adwuma no obeye correct boche obeto 1.5 e dey akọ asalibucha babako but scanner etwa se wunya kopim say yate fair no so but fuel no so no ewo still na ewo high
enti no 2 cedi na yate so no emwamo
madam yentimi ka say emwo fine wate so yentimi nya ho hwe but the hwehwe baby say ano ye fuel na wotum ne de o man na ekonanim wo de wontum nko ye mfa ho but the increment of transportation is what we need.
Enti no ne hia mo ne say mo be increase transport fares and yes say ye better fuel ne so
that one there me ya say me gina here no there shedan ha me say obeto so no but me transportation now obeto so no ne hia me
enti first na nka in a day no we saying we go around how many times
boche there ubetimi akọ 5 but say oko or at first and under nanado administration no auto diesel 120 cedis ubetimi dey akọ 1.5 trip but riding no auto diesel 150 cedis untimi fa nkọ even 1 trip no kra
me that say okay
enti esre ye dey o yenim so marry mu driver for yenkuta degree yenkuta PhD but yadwuma na ye na so mbopa ye so mo man so mpapa enti pa mo chew yes repa nam TV3 so na Mr. Mahama wanti na increment no is very important. Yeah, say obey increase diesel now, we don't care about that one. But increment of transportation is what we need. Of late, obey deduct 15%. And the diesel, you see, our increment equal 19 and but no probably no, man said that 17. Fine, 17 I don't know. It doesn't bother. But yes, stress say 50% no be deducted from transportation. No. Say increment be back on transportation now. It shouldn't be that same 50%, nor 20%. At least it should be 30%.
30%. You me show you. Yeah, that's all near Kasa. So some drivers are asking for an increment in transportation prices in spite of the drop in diesel prices this morning. I want us to talk to the station master now here at the Circle New Plant Station to find out his thoughts on this as well. Station master, me Pacho, good morning.
Good morning.
Pacho, Bodi Mayeng.
Mr.
Sekwame.
Medina station master.
Okay. But Chelsea, what to say? You have to diesel so 2 cities.
But 2 cities at the Cobia. 2 cities what to say? 4. What 2 cities are? Tie and Teso, Swepas and Teso, Yanti Latisi Beso, Yanti Lad Beso, Yanti Water Beso, Bibiani Ateso. You met someone there, Mukanza Balapancho, until all the friends matter for Umbre. For the whole day, what Monia, who's going out to Fokan? Count of Moses, Ambe. The Cacrava Kanza Banze. E pa nchewa onto all the friends ma da for 9 koso akaram so umpo mo nya choponi
On to some saying.
Oh, that's 30%. 30 of my man, I got one.
So 15% first time.
I don't know, Muga and so, Muga has a lot of 2 times. Every day I come at entire city. 80% AC, and yet, what traffic comes out, come at and yet, the more I want to a Canada for so we are your point. No more in the mouth view. Mutual Bay, what are they in a room? Just car crown for Tumbutum. And then Koye.
Until she said 2 cities na yati so no Mbwakra and Ebwakakra.
Madam dear, Omunkakra, Moyakra, and Moy, and Fabiama, and Moy. Lord Fella Montesuma, Combe, Omoteswa. Tottenham, may call Doko, may call Madame Johnson, may call Sakama Johnson, in Lombojai. And then they are going to short room. They don't feel like Comadina to AC, and yet, yeah, I do AC, and yes, short to be. Obi fi ako Sankara, no ko dia be 5 city, 10 hotel 5 city. Na ko Siasi, hotel 5 city. Bodu adan wo ka be 30 city. Ndenye, omo tu moya, obi a be go straight. Passenger for na wo mre, nyina wo mre anapa. Ombo jina fa ko sa, obo system service. 10 service to Accra. Enye, madam. Tibuni aban kasa ma e pomcho.
Yeah, that's the pa. Yeah, that's the station master. Brapa chef saying.
Na Flame Kofi Asale.
We are driver was. Come Madina.
Me travel to ablem to new ablem to cycle.
Na sisi a 2 city na ye fi diesel so no. Wo ne sen.
Omo yi Mumbai ankwanim ko yi be 3 city kra ka ba boa yan adawa for no. Ba 2 city na o yi ne de amwa ankwanim.
Na si driver ni bu na ye no mo kasa no mo se anka yen to lorry fe ni mu emu. Anka enu mom na mo pe.
Si yantum ana aban ntiase na ofa yantum kakra. Ayasa anna baboa ba si ade emwa ye kura petro na yeto ne boarding dodo. Ti e be pon ne enya hwe. Ti aban ntiase na yefa kakra kan ho.
All right, it appears the sentiments are the same across board from everyone we've spoken to. They're asking for increment in transportation prices instead of a decrement in the diesel prices, or otherwise they want the 2% to be revised to the 2 cities, I beg your pardon, to be revised to 3 cities or 5 cities. Let's talk to more drivers and then we'll talk to some passengers about the increase, the possible or the proposed increase in the transportation prices. Boss, what are you saying?
Medebo Isaac.
But also your driver now.
Me driver ni pa.
Na say what's it near driver for na you know makasa and pay air can.
And yate nanso me dey minimum anu say oman no politics na say oman no because abedin be wan say oman ye wo mu na ye leaders a edi oman ni nanim wontumi mfa oman ne nkose ne ye pe no
say na ye pe no
ye pe no say ye nyina ye ho beto ye oman ni na abeba ne say leaders eniema wo ye nyina mfa kwam road a yenam so nyina say wo Ghana me a long distance driver me kotakwa me ko libo me fa ba bibia wo Ghana ha iso man ba bia say enti ama driver for no so no ya ne GPRT lol fare ye pay ne ye je da me kan what me say before then ye free kotakwa dey 120 cedis she say 140 cedis ye free kotakwa dey je say she say do 170 ekwan ye nam so no ansa na obe free ha obedu takra de no na niam bebre ase wo ka da me kan what me say enti say o man no ya mo ye ho a obi free baby membo ayen
na but what to say ya titi diesel so there
he
diesel ya titi 2 cedi
ya titi say
2 cedi
2 cedi na bebo ayen amo enkware enko babia eto ka chem ti ya titi 2 cedi ya enya no na de be confuse me madwen aka chem say wo bo a o man na wo ye bibi ye papa mahama waye bi onko so anya se ne obeye na abebo a o man Ghana no mo politics na wo ye na adoso o man mu too much ye tumi nya de abebo adriver fu ye hiam wa wo hwe driver ni bia ye dwuma o ko retirement ya o ko fo hiam o ko ahotere kasa na driver ni kom bisa papa ye fiti status ye dwuma o Medina station enye nnasem adriver fu bebre de awere hu no owuo en bebre awu afri park we so a ene ye da so a ye wo park we so eti se ye ti ya no enye na kasa kura ye modembo a ye se ye hu nkran ni nkran a enka station kura ka ba kura kagu acha se eniam ekoso no emoa yen ye ni benefit for adwuma nim ye ni bibia e bo driver for abrabo nim nti ana na driver for de na mu saa ada na ye be saa e be de na nipa ntumi ndwane firi anu nkotra brochire uti oman we mu na ho kire uti na ndwane nkotra brochire eti mame media minim se mu ye media for but ye monam na de bia ye so ye cancer mkire mu na to mutere ota se me san ye structure a STC eti same ye driver ni na mawura makodu sam papa so na me hwe me nuadom driver for ya eye mobo ye mobo ankasa ya bo for wan wan na ebo ayen eti o mampani bi obabia na obedada ayen na obeji yen ho mfa so na omo de yen ska ye betre wonu mo saa adan ye papa mahama we de ye srew ma woni kwa driver for ho na sab driver for cost strike wo man we mu a in fact abeyo how kese pa eti mahama na ni kwa driver for ho na so waka se kro de be mema driver for bi kro for work campaign no be adwuma no watuaka na se ka na be ne dia no so to de ahwe de yire na ne ma emfa so be ba so ya me kan what me ase eti me srem bebre me so dem wasese mo etumi na mo ye ho ntabe ne kasa.
Now he's talking about the welfare of drivers as well as the need for the government to consider other aspects of their job in addition to the reduction in diesel prices, which he thinks is not very adequate. He thinks that the construction of roads is important, consideration for spare parts prices is important, and other things that drivers need. He's talking about work and pay for vehicles for drivers to own, among other things. And it appears that so far, from everyone we've spoken to, the 2 cedi reduction doesn't really mean much. I'm going to try to talk to some passengers now and find out what their thoughts are about the 2 cedi reduction. If you have just tuned in, government has just announced, effective today, a 2 cedi reduction in diesel prices per litre. This means that if you buy diesel from today, you can expect that there will be a reduction of 2 cedis per litre. Pacho, good morning. Pacho, Efra saying.
Efra runs for the buku.
Now, who are passenger?
Pacho, I'm a driver.
Who's your driver? Okay. Many passengers go kasa, but me no beka sansa. Me Pacho, 2 cedi na ye diesel price so no who the same.
Oh, ababwa be who sa ban to me ba from kakrama ya kababwa.
Emba from enko how much?
It's me 1 litre 15 cedi, 14 cedi kra normal.
Sesi ano to ne saying.
Sesi ano ndo amekona da 1890 something. Ebi nso de da 1790 something. Total ne go ne share ne de ne awosoro. The star oil no na de na me hu say da 799.
Okay, into sesi ano wo pese emba be 14. Ana wakanden lorry fare nso e.
Lorry fare ne de senka etimba 14 ne de a. Etimba 14 di anka ebe manage lorry fare no. But say baby e dane de definitely I was here too. Because I say first na metimi de 25 liters cocoa for duaba. But say no just am talk 28 liters. Until which means I'm sick and I'm chok money na akodim.
Now who your driver how many years?
Me driver 15 years ni.
Na 15 years ni na wo hwe say dey anyoma city say ani say dey first na anyoma city no tell saying.
Me hu say aban abatwa mu no de na me hu say na omo de na ekon so omo de ekọ 22 cedi within coronavirus time. They got 1 litre 22 cedi ana about 17 cedi. And so na ye election na ma joma ma abetake over. But they say dem hu so mba hu manage bet to kwa na mo say ekoso amanone no am afeti nti me hu say no esa akoso.
Me da se bebre.
So mo hwe ma na emla form.
Ensambra form.
E be manage friend but say na tie dia we say so e kakra kan ho. E be da mo say.
Yes, we are that say. All right, now we'll go over to the loading buses and then talk to some of the passengers who are already in their cars. And we're talking about the increase in, or the decrease rather, the 2 cedi reduction in diesel prices. All right, this car is full. Let me just go over to the window. Pacho, good morning. Pacho, you TV3 yet me no kasa. You TV3 yet me no kasa. Pacho, Efra saying.
Me the Prince Nana Bekan. Oh, me tree.
Pacho, yes, say a diesel so by 2 cedis. What?
Pacho mente. Yeah.
But a driver for the say and I at diesel so no. I was say omutumi to a transportation price so say ufa trotra omo be so mutum. Who want to say?
Mpacho enya kra.
Say ya wutu asen wo coin.
Say me ko Madina. But me ko Madina me tua ACD. Yeah.
Nti omo say anka e was say tumba be 10 cities. Who want to say?
Mpacho momutum because even make us say edu na dru kra mpo na a lot of instead of Oyalfa to Madina no ye tua 5 city but say edu anumre dia omo tua more than 5 city. Ebi wo to meje 10 city, obi wo to meje 15 city, which is very bad. Yeah, and say yes, say your friend say sad na omo ye no. Your mumbehwe na omo agya inse na be ya ye nso ye ho be hen because say we are no ayeden pa. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. The passengers say no. Pacho, good morning. Pacho means we know Akasa. Okay. All right. No problem. All right. Intino. So the drivers are asking for an increment in the transportation prices, and the passengers are saying that it's not the best idea at the moment. What are your thoughts? Let us know. We're here because the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has directed that there be a decrease in diesel prices per litre, 2 cedi decrease per litre. And this is to help cushion consumers, drivers and transport operators. The drivers say that this 2 cedi decrease would not do much for them. They would like at least a 5% or a 5 cedi decrease. What they, however, need is an increase in transportation prices. Because of the previous decrease, they think that they need about a 15% increase in transportation prices to cushion them so that their transport business will thrive. Because at the moment, it's not going very well for them. And one of them actually said that a lot of them are dying in poverty after so many years working here at the Circle New Plant Station. What are your thoughts? Let us know. My name is Nash Shoko, coming to you live from the Circle New Plant Station in Accra.
Well, Nash Shoko, they're speaking to transporters, particularly the commuters, that's the passengers and then their drivers, on the subject matter of the fuel price increment and then the subsidies just announced by government over the last 12 hours. I don't know what you make of it. If you have any reactions at all, Diana Kpan Tamale says that it hasn't been easy at all. And then there's also the subject matter of the spare parts. It's a no-go area. It's now too much and made semblance scenarios of having to travel to Y, etc., and having to buy more fuel subsequently. Well, if you experience that, please let us know what you think. But we have some couple of other related birthdays before we go. Hafsa, the family prayers are with you, and they wish you all the best happiness, health and success as you mark your birthday. Na Day Susubri, be the first. God bless you. Kweku Ahiagle, you're celebrating your birthday. More wins ahead. Happy birthday to you, Kweku. Gilbert Quiz, happy birthday to you. We've done this already, but no problem at all. Double dose. Tracy, Mami Sewa. Hey, it's Mami Sewa. Okay, Mami Sewa. Mami Sewa loves you. Hey, is that mine? Is that mine that got corrupt? All right, so let's move on. All right, it is mine. The devil is working. All right, so that'll be it for now. Please make sure you join us same time tomorrow. We wish you all the best. And again, Martha Nyako of Pantan, you celebrated your birthday. And it's from your twin sister, Mary Nyako, who is also wishing you all the best for the day as well. That'll be it for our show. Make sure that you join us throughout the rest of the day. And then also touch base with us across our social media handles, TV3 Ghana. Bye-bye.